Welcome to America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us on this Friday afternoon program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Racing canceled in New York today at Aqueduct due to a winter snowstorm in the metropolitan area of New York, and we remain in New York under a winter weather advisory. Back to action tomorrow. We'll preview some of that action coming up, but in the meantime, we have racing from Hot Springs, Arkansas at Oaklawn, and from Oldsmar, Florida at Tampa Bay Downs. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. First time I've seen you in 2022, so Happy New Year and good to be with you.
You too. I haven't seen you over a month.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Our longest time apart in quite a while. We actually are only on today to prove to people that we did get snow at Aqueduct. So if you turn your TV on, you can see there's snowing at Aqueduct, and that's why we had to cancel. But
woke up this morning. It's a beautiful sight, though, when you actually get some. But hopefully everyone's safe. That's the most important thing.
The beauty of snow in New York is it's really beautiful for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then by the time I'll get home today, it'll be puddles in the street and a big mess.
It washes away quickly. We have a lot of good action, though, to bring you. The feature today at Oaklawn. 3-year-old fillies and the half-sister to maybe the 3-year-old champion. Belmont Stakes winner, Essential Quality, famed, cutting back in distance from a mile and a 16th, going to try a 2-turn mile today.
Poor famed. She's going to forever be known as Essential Quality's sister. And if she doesn't start running better, Essential Quality's not going to tell anybody. That was my sister that ran today at X Track. Listen, we'll see. We'll see how she does. She got into a very tough Golden Rod. It was, it was a particularly tough race for a horse like her, coming off of a maiden win, because there was a ton of speed in the race, and there was some talent in the race as well. And she's a pretty quick horse early. She's got more kick than Essential Quality does. So we'll see what she does going forward. Is she a horse that's going to be able to emerge from that shadow? Or is she a horse that's always going to be dramatically overshadowed? And it's always kind of a curse of success for others.
You picked against her last time. You had the winner of that race.
It was my last winner, Greg.
Was it really?
I'm glad you remember it. No, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
That was Dream
That's why you remember it.
She's 8-5 today, so we'll see if she can get back in the winner's circle. We got Tampa Bay, as mentioned, as well, but early on, we're going to have this third from Oaklawn for you to kick off action today from Hot Springs, Arkansas. We have Gary Stevens live on track as well. We'll check it with him in just a little bit. And there you see Tampa Bay Race 6 going to kick off that late Big Four. They are fast and firm, and they're fast also in Hot Springs.
The fifth race at Tampa, which I believe the first race we're going to show, has more interesting pedigree stuff going on than anything. You've got a firster whose dam beat rags to riches in her last start. You've got a very interesting story with the 5 and the 3 as well. It was bought over at Tattersall. So you've got plenty of interesting pedigree notes now. I'm looking forward to the 5th at Tampa right away.
All right, we'll get to that coming up. It starts at pick 5. You can play all the action today by getting signed up and started with Nyra Bets. Go to nyrabets.com. Download the app, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. We mentioned his half-sister running. Essential Quality, perhaps awards in his future. Belmont Stakes winner. New home for the third and final leg of the Triple Crown. We'll have that news for you, which came out earlier this week. When we come back, stay with us.
A Grade 1 winner of nearly $2 million, Silver State hails from the Sire line of legendary Claiborne Stallion Danzig. And his second dam is full sister to Kentucky Derby winner Monarchos. After winning the Oaklawn Handicap, Silver State defeated Knicks Go in the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. On the board in 12 of 14 starts from ages 2 to 4, his career included a 6-race winning streak. Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
as the field comes for the quarter pole. It is Essential Quality on the outside and Hot Rod Charlie on the inside. Essential Quality with a narrow lead. Hot Rod Charlie continues to battle on, and now there's an eighth of a mile to the finish. It is Essential Quality with the lead here over Hot Rod Charlie. Now a 16th to the finish, and it is Essential Quality, and he's showing his quality today. The champion 2-year-old has won the Test of the Champion.
What an incredible battle we saw with Essential Quality, Hot Rod Charlie, in last year's Belmont Stakes. Belmont Stakes has a new home. It is moving to Fox Sports beginning in 2023, an 8-year deal that was announced on Wednesday, and Nyra Bets will be the title sponsor.
I mean, I think I could say I fairly speak for all of us. I can't say enough about the partnership we have with Fox and what tremendous supporters they've been of horse racing in general, but also of the New York Racing Association and our racing. And I mean, it's very exciting for us. Obviously, it's our signature race. And to have it come to Fox, the network that has embraced us with open arms, especially over the last 5 years or so, and a network where we first met, you and I, when we first worked together on the Jockey Club series on Fox. So, I mean, it's thrilling for us, and we're proud to be associated with Fox Sports and everything they do for us, and Mike Mulvihill especially, who's been such a great supporter, as I said, not just of us, but of horse racing in general. Great friends of the game.
No question. Been a long time, long partnership, and to get this race back with Fox, or with Fox, I should say, for the first time, but with New York Racing Association, it's tremendous. We're very much looking forward to it. That, again, begins in 2023. This race, you touched on it. Some interesting pedigrees in here. 5th at Tampa, 1 mile on the turf, maiden special weight, first-time starter for Chad Brown. Microphone is the 8-5 favorite. We'll see in a moment. We start with Lacoste, 0 for 12.
Yeah, I mean, this horse has run some credible races, whether they're maiden claimers or maiden special weights, but 0 for 12 with 3 seconds and 3/3.
Next door, the favorite, and Sam Camacho will ride for Chad Brown on the first-time starter.
Yeah, and Chad Brown has shipped over many good-looking first-time starters to Tampa. Digital Age, who won a Grade 1. A lot of good ones have run over there. And Microphone is a half to serve the king. We saw win our John's Call at Saratoga. Also saw run second in the Grade 1 Joe Hirsch. And this one goes out for Peter Brandt's White Birch Farm. So probably optimistic about his chances. Chad Brown doesn't ship them over there just to give him one.
4-year-old making his debut. 9th of April, 0 for 25.
Yeah, this one looks like he'd be a massive upsetter in this field. Will likely drift up from his 10-1.
Another first-time starter next door for Christophe Clement, Canaan, and tell everyone what you told me during the break.
It's just a great pedigree story. The Sire's American Pharaoh. This horse is a half to Ohm, who won $1.2 million in the turf, including a second the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. But Ohm beat American Pharaoh in American Pharaoh's debut. But they've hooked up together, and Christophe Clement training this one shipping over.
Interesting. And here's 6, the 6, Harpoon Harry, Jordan Blair, 0 for 9.
Finished ahead of Lecomte last time and seems to be improving. And the best thing you can say about this horse, while he's had his share of chances, he ran his best race ever last time out.
And 8-1 outside, first-time starter, son of Curlin, 4-year-old as well.
It's more of a dirt pedigree, though. Lear's Princess, the dam, was pretty good in the turf, but I think she's sort of most famous for winning the Gazelle at Belmont in this next start for Rags to Riches after she won her Belmont Stakes and turned out to be her last start. But Lear's Princess, who ran for West Point, beat her that day. She's a very nice horse. I think she ran in the sloppy Breeders' Cup in Monmouth, but she didn't handle it all that day. But she was a very good horse.
Post time coming up on the turf here at Tampa. We welcome into the show Jonathan Kinchin. JK, Happy New Year.
Wolfie, you're back. I missed you. Andy, you're still here. Hi, buddy. This is a situation where one of these first-time starters looks extremely alive, right? I mean, the Chad runner or the Christophe runner likely to win this race. But I'll tell you, there's a little bit of an interesting story with the 6 Harpoon Harry. Not only has this horse run pretty well last time, Harpoon Harry's actually won a race before. Well, crossed the wire first, but was disqualified. And I think that's kind of interesting when you're looking at these maiden races for horses that have never won before. It's kind of nice to see a horse that kind of has won before. Now, obviously, he did something to get disqualified, and that's problematic in its own right. But I think that there's a little bit of value to be had because they're going to bet these other 2 firsters for Chad and for Christophe as if they're going to be the next coming. That's what happens when Chad and Christophe show up at Tampa. I just think that the 6 Harpoon Harry offers a little bit of value considering the circumstances. This horse has experience. You don't have to worry about that. You might have to worry about it with the first-time starters.
You brought up something interesting to me, Greg, which I had noticed also, that the 3 microphone is running the name White Birch Farm, but they're Peter Brandt Silks. Peter Brandt's farm is White Birch Farm. I don't know if there's a reason why he runs in this name or he's running today. He might use it in Europe more, but we're used to seeing them in America running under the name Peter Brandt.
Yeah. 8-5 favorite is that Brandt White Birch Farm runner. 4-year-old. Had to be patient to get this one to the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is, just turned 4 years old, but understandable. I agree. And, you always wonder what it takes. But, keep in mind with Serve the King, he didn't really start getting good till he was 6. So maybe it's just sort of a horse that you need to take your time with. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think that Chad Brown will be shipping this horse over to Tampa unless he was optimistic about his chances. He's run so many good horses over there in the past and done well with them. And a lot of trainers, Christophe Clement, same thing. They really like that turf course at Tampa Bay. And, the purses obviously aren't what they are in New York by any stretch of the imagination. But if you're looking to win a maiden race and be able to get them ready to be in an allowance race and then hopefully stakes races, you got to break that maiden first. And I think a lot of these trainers, Christophe, Chad Brown, and others, have found that Tampa is a place they like to ship. They love that course.
Jonathan had brought up Harpoon Harry, who, crossed the wire first, only to get disqualified. But then Connections put this horse in against winners on a couple of occasions, including on the turf at Keeneland once, although he didn't run all that well.
My assumption is that he hadn't been declared the loser of that race, and that's why he had to run. They probably hadn't disqualified because it's disqualified from purse money. So it wasn't a steward's thing. It was some sort of, I don't know what the exact reason for it. So they probably didn't realize that he was going to be a maiden again.
You look at how he performed, though, against winners, and does that downgrade how you feel about his chances?
Well, I mean, I thought his last race was the best race he ever ran. The horse who won was actually a first-time turfer that wired the field, Carpenter's Call. And, he did finish ahead of Lacoste. And, I mean, Lacoste isn't a bad horse. He just seems to be a horse that has trouble finding the winner's circle. But these horses are running buyer figures in the 70s. These are respectable numbers. I mean, I don't think, even if the 3 or 5 or 7, the firsters turn out to be pretty good, I don't think they're going to go out and run an 88 buyer first time out.
Loading up. 8-5 favorite remains that first-time starter. Moving in right now for Chad Brown. Microphone, Sam Camacho rides. Jason Beam to kick off our Friday action here on America's Day at the Races.
9th of April moving in. Canaan, one of 3 firsters in this race, numbers 3, 5, and 7, all making debut today. Twinning on Harpoon Harry and Terra Shockin will be all set for a start here in today's 5th, the late pick 5 here at Tampa Bay Downs. Here's Terra Shock. John Bisotto to the outside draw. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Microphone away a little bit slow. Down toward the inside, Lacoste got away in good order. Harpoon Harry and the blue colors up from the outside, and a recovering Microphone now coming up to join that front vanguard as they go by the wire the first time round. It is Harpoon Harry now to clear off by 2. Microphone into a clear-cut second as 9th of April moves up outside of Lacoste. They're out 3rd and 4th. They're 3 lengths clear of Canaan, who is out in the 5th spot as Harpoon Harry runs away up front. Is in front by 4 going into that turn. And at the back early on is Terra Shock. But Harpoon Harry, Jesus Castanon on a mission here. They've opened up by 5 lengths in the early going. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Harpoon Harry onto the back stretch, now clear by 6 or 7. Microphone is back in second. 9th of April, 3rd to that one's outside, a length and a half behind it. Down toward the inside is Lacoste. They race in tandem now, 3rd and 4th. It's a break of 2 more then. Back to Canaan, who's second last, and Terra Shock is at the back. So just under a half mile left to go. No turning back for Harpoon Harry, who takes him to the far turn, still in front. That lead is about 6. Microphone in the second spot. Lacoste down toward the inside, 3rd, 7.5 adrift. Outside of that one comes 9th of April. Canaan still second last. Terra Shock still at the back. 47-1 for Harpoon Harry. The lead is 6.5 lengths still. Microphone trying to close in a little bit from the second spot. It's now 2.5 or 3 lengths more. Canaan is trying to get going outside of 9th of April. Down to the inside, Lacoste, and still at the back is Terra Shock. Harpoon Harry been there every step of the way. Microphone is cutting into that lead, though. The lead is down to a length and a half. It's Harpoon Harry. Here's Microphone up on the outside. These two for the final furlong, and it might be this one because Microphone just grabbed command as Harpoon Harry back to second. Late run from Canaan, but Sammy Camacho in victory formation already here. Microphone by 4. Harpoon Harry was second. A third went to Canaan. 4th, Lacoste, and 5th was 9th of April.
Harpoon Harry trying to open up on this field. Well, did open up on this field, but Microphone able to reel him in.
Yeah, I don't think you know if he ran an 88 buyer, but he might be pretty okay, this horse. I mean, Harpoon Harry ran, and he run so well last time. And I mean, it's just Sammy Camacho just sort of asked him a little and just ran away from it. I don't think Kanan, the half-dome, ran that badly. Harpoon Harry, I mean, Jonathan was right. He ran a good race. Just ran to a buzzsaw.
It's a nice debut, worth the wait early on here in his 4-year-old campaign, and now is a quiet Sam Camacho down the stretch. Third at Oaklawn, $16,000 claiming race, 6-furlong sprint. Futile. 3-1 right now, drops down in class from 25, a 13-time winner of over $420,000. One of a few contenders in this race. Let's go live to Hot Springs, check in with our Hall of Famer, Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, we had a little bit of a delay getting started here today, about a 20-minute delay. The temperatures dropped down in the teens last night into this morning. I came out early and the track was actually frozen. They had squeezed as much moisture out of it as they could last night. Not allowed to put any chemicals on this racetrack because it's a state park. And I'll tell you what, they've done a tremendous job of getting this track race ready. It's a fast racetrack. They worked on it all morning long. 20 minutes late, but we're racing now. We've got 7 more races coming your way out of Hot Springs. Feature race today is a good one. Right now we've got $16,000 claimers going 6 furlongs. I like a horse in here, the 3-horse Futile, a little bit, but yeah, they're trying to speed things along as quickly as they can. It's still cold out in the low 30s right now. It's going to warm up to about 38 just before we're done racing this afternoon. So just glad that we're racing today and going to bring you some good action. Greg?
All right, Gary, we appreciate it. Getting set for post time. The one Gary likes in here, that's Futile, dropping from 25,000 as we check in with Jonathan. And maybe that last start for Futile maybe was just a little bit above his head.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen from time to time, obviously. He didn't run poorly. He ran okay. Maybe the distance was an issue as well. Maybe going the 2 turns was a little bit much, and maybe going shorter will be better. I actually like the horse a little bit to the outside, the 8 River Ruler. So a horse that came in off a pretty big, not a significantly long break, but off since September, came in, attended a pretty quick pace, was chasing a pretty quick pace around there, and finished well enough as the favorite. So I'm hoping that this horse can gain something from that effort and then come back here and be a little bit tighter second time off of a layoff, drawn towards the outside. I love tactical horses at Oaklawn, drawn towards the outside.
So 11-1, and you like this 8 as well?
No, I don't like the 8.
Well,
I mean, at least 11-1 in stats, you know, be darned at 11-1. But the trainer is 9 for 161 at Oaklawn, 6% over the last 5 years with an ROI of around 50 cents for every $2 bet. I like the 6, Alex's Strike. I do respect the 3 on the turn back. Robertino Diodoro claimed this horse at Church and Wade for Oaklawn. Robertino Diodoro has amazing stats off the claim. He's 28% with all dirt sprinters off the claim, the 221 ROI. Horses he's shipping in from Oaklawn off the claim. So horses he claimed out of town that he shipped in. He's 15 for 51 over the last 5 years with the 252 ROI. Pretty heady stats for a guy that wins as much as Diodoro does.
Meanwhile, the favorite, it's the 3 Futile, who is a 9-year-old, by the way. There he is moving in. 13-time winner from 56 starts. Let's see if he can notch another here. Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
And River Ruler. They're at the post. They're off. Very even start. Verrazano first and Chakra the filly, and Chakra puts her head in front. Tomato Bill is next. Then comes Tappin' for a Dance. Feudal and River Ruler are next. Then comes Alex's Strike, and the trailer is California Swing. It is Chakra just in front of Tomato Bill up the back stretch. Those two are pretty much even, and 2 lengths in front of Verrazano first and Tappin' for a Dance. River Ruler is 5th with 5 lengths to make up. It's another 4 back to Feudal, who's about to be joined and passed by Alex's Strike, and California Swing has 13 lengths to make up and 3 furlongs to do it. So Chakra and Tomato Bill are still 1-2. 2. Verrazano First inches a closer third, and here's Verrazano First within a length of the lead. Tapping for a Dance and River Ruler are next. Now California Swing is closing in strongly from the back of the pack. He's second to last, but he's got a lot of forward momentum in the black cap. Pink Silks could be heard from. Chakra continues to lead. It is Chakra in front. California Swing is going to be the danger, and here he comes in the center of the racetrack. Alex's Strike races in third, and Chakra and California Swing with Alex's Strike up the rail. California Swing, Alex's Strike slips through from the inside. These two, Alex's Strike, California Swing, Alex's Strike beat California Swing. Chakra, great third for the filly. Close for fourth, Tapping for a Dance and Feudal.
Alex's Strike, Diodoro, first off the claim with David Cohen, 6th win of this 6-year-old's career.
Do we want to say that Cohen gave this horse a great ride, or do we want to say he made it a little tougher than maybe it had to be? Now, in fairness to David, I think he realized if I swing outside, I might get caught, really wide. The whole field's coming together, and his thinking was, I got a whole stretch to get by. They'll separate. I'll find a seam. And you know what? I'm going to say he made the right move because he got there. So nice job, David. Got the winner home. Diodoro off the claim. Big price.
6-7. Yeah, you don't see that often, especially at Hot Springs. 6-7-2, as Vic Stauffer mentioned. Chakra the filly hanging on for third here in the end. But it's Alex's Strike with the victory, third win at Oaklawn in 10 starts, son of a Fleet Alex. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll preview tomorrow's Pippin, and Coach will be the one to beat for Brad Cox, coming off a victory off the bench in the mud. The daughter of Commissioner. Stay with us.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Solomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Nyra Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Nyra Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Nyra Bets app or visit NyraBets.com.
This is the horse.
He is just too good.
This is the horse who became only the second champion 2-year-old to win the Travers in 3 decades. This is the horse who is the only Breeders' Cup juvenile hero ever to lift the Belmont Stakes. History-making brilliance. That's his essential quality. Essential quality. This is the horse. Just imagine.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
So we started tours here about 30 plus years ago, and we really saw a need as more people started to come to visit to have a place for them to check in, restrooms, and a lot of people were also trying to buy merchandise. And so we decided to take this building that we had here on the farm and turn it into the visitor center. We have a lot of Secretariat stuff. We started with just a few items, but I mean, one of the main reasons people come here is to see his grave, and so that's what people want to buy and want to take home with them, because that's what they remember a lot about the tour. I really love the Secretariat stuffed animal. I think it just captures him well. It's great for Secretariat fans, but it also has our logo on it. We also added a shuttle tour a couple years ago. We were getting a lot of requests for people to see the rest of the farm. People always thought, what's over that mysterious hill? And so we bought an electric shuttle. We take them through the mares and foals division. The Visitor Center is open every day that we have tours from 9:30 to 12:30. I feel like we have a lot of families in the summer because they're doing their summer vacation and traveling, and then race fans April, October, November.
We're back in our program brought to you in part each and every day by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Back at Tampa, first-time starter for Chad Brown, Peter Brandt, and his White Birch Farm. Running down impressively Harpoon Harry, who opened up a big lead on this field.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see those big leads and you think the jockey's waiting too long. Sam Camacho, he knew just what he was doing. And as you said to me, and you sort of motioned me during the race, he's going by this horse just standing still.
That was impressive. Now I'll be interested to see, as you said, what number that comes back. Maybe we'll get that before the end of the show.
No. Tomorrow
morning?
Yeah. I'll try to remember to mention it tomorrow.
Usually good about tweeting those out.
Yeah.
Back at Oaklawn, Alex's Strike for Heads Up Racing Stable. Robertino Diodoro, first off the claim win.
He adds to those impressive stats. He's now 16 for 52 over the last 5 years with horses he claimed out of town and shipped to Oaklawn. Might be something to keep an eye on with Diodoro. He does very well off the claim, but he's particularly sharp when he claims out of town with his sights set on coming to Oaklawn.
$8.40 for the victory for the son of a Fleet Alex. 6th win of his career. We mentioned as we went to break, feature coming up tomorrow on the program from Oaklawn. That is the Pippin Stakes, Fillies and Mares, 2-turn mile. Brad Cox will send out coach, returning to stakes action for the first time since she had to deal with Malathaat at the Kentucky Oaks back in April.
I don't know who makes the morning line, but I would have made Miss Bigley the favorite in here, not coach. But they do like to bet on those Brad Cox runners. But my question for you is, who's the big Chicago Bulls fan to have the Pippin at Oaklawn? Now I've just insulted who the real Pippin is, but you know. The real Pippin.
You have,
Scottie
I'll
Pippen,
pass
right?
on that.
She's okay. You know, she got her win done last time coming off the layoff. It was a muddy track. She's going to have to run a lot faster and all likely to win here. You know, her lone fast race from a Beyer speed figure standpoint was at Oaklawn, the Fantasy. Other horses never lived up to the big figure that race got. I'm a little skeptical. Honestly, Miss Bigley, to me, she's been running against just better horses. I thought she'd be an overwhelming favorite
Consistently, too, running speed figures in the high 80s, low 90s.
Yeah, she looks like the big favorite.
She's 5-2 morning line for Phil D'Amato. Her only try at Oaklawn. That was a win.
And would you say that this is the first baby steps towards the Grade 1 Apple Blossom run at Oaklawn in April, where you've got the Bayakoa and the Arazi, or Azari.
Azari, yeah.
Yes, running there and looking for those races and see some nice horses running in those races, pointing for those races.
Big steps.
Yeah.
To tackle that kind of company. But again, that's the last few years is that there's been the division that's kind of been, obviously we talk about the Classic all the time, but that Filly and Mare sort of distaff division has been loaded with so much talent. Is it going to remain the same this year?
I hope so. I mean, we'll see. You know, I have to rack my brain and remember what 3-year-olds. I guess Malathaat must be. She's coming back. She was shipped down actually to Florida, I believe, just this week. So she's with Todd Pletcher down in Florida, so she'll be coming back. Clairiere will certainly have to imagine she'll be coming back. We'll lose a horse like Dunbar Road, who got beaten in the nose. I believe she's been retired, but I think Latruska's back. So, yeah, why not? Looking forward to all those races. Love those races.
That race produced craziest upset
of
Breeders' Cup weekend. 45 to 1 shot, March Lorraine.
You needed an all to get to that one. That was a tough one even after the race to come up with a reason you could like.
Yes, it really was. Thrilling race, though. Yeah. We have a couple new audiences joining us right now, so we're going to take a slight pause as we continue with live action from Oaklawn and Tampa. Welcome to those just tuning in on Valley Sports Southern California and San Diego. Those already with us on FS2. Good to have you. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling with you here on America's Day at the Races on this Friday afternoon. Racing canceled in New York. That happened early on this morning before there was ever a chance of that card getting started because of the winter weather in the area. But we do have live action from Oaklawn and Hot Springs and Oldsmar, Florida at Tampa Bay. Our feature today, that's at Oaklawn. For 3-year-old fillies.
And the half to Essential Quality, famed, trying to get back on track after her disappointing effort in the Goldenrod last time, but glad to be here. And we really came here so you could look behind us and see the snow on the track. So for you disbelievers out there, we did get snow here at Aqueduct, but we'll be back in action tomorrow and Sunday.
We will, and we'll preview that Say Florida Sandy that is coming up on tomorrow's card as well. 6th at Tampa, it is the start of a pick 4, $5,000 claiming race, non-winners of 2 since back on July 7th, this condition. 7 furlongs, and Salsa Rita taking a lot of money right now at 8-5.
Yeah, the 6th. Gee, I didn't love her in here. I liked Sussekin, who scratched. Now the race is devoid of speed. Isn't Ornery Angel in a position to put him on a merry chase?
We will talk more about it when we come back. It would appear so. Plenty ahead from Oaklawn and Tampa after a short timeout.
Introducing a Stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
It's a great setting for the horse. When Mr. Gaines built it, he built it with the horse in mind. And everything about it is just natural to the horse.
The history here runs deep. I just hope we can add a page to it.
The Gainesway roster at the moment is a very youthful roster. We have a lot of young horses. With that youth, you never know where the next great stallion is going to come from.
Stallion, like Tappet, comes along once in a lifetime. We all realize we would be extremely, extremely fortunate to ever be around another horse that good. But it's our goal. It's our goal to try to get another Tappet.
He was an extremely highly accomplished 2-year-old.
Tappet tugs the horse all the way around the track, comes home for a cruise in the futurity.
I've loved Tappet. First crop I remember seeing start and bound at the first 2-year-old sale. She worked 3/8 and worked awesome. I was like, that's a really neat filly. Tappet as a stallion, he's unbelievable. 8 champions. And he's like fine wine, he gets better with age.
The
The goals are straightforward. We're going to expand our Stallion roster through syndication. Anthony wants to aggressively build this Stallion roster.
And really buy Stallion prospects at a younger age via yearling sales, 2-year-olds, or even breeding our own at home. Right now, we're really focusing on that because, Gainesway's been an unbelievable consignor as long as Brian's been in charge. Now we're trying to bring Gainesway to the forefront in all aspects of the industry.
In my career at Gainesway, initially was building our sales program. In the Keeneland sales and Fasig-Tipton, you get pretty amped up trying to achieve your clients' goals. Last year we were the second leading consignor of thoroughbreds in North America. That helps us all sleep better.
Thank you, gentlemen. $1,650,000.
Consigned by Gainesway. We're ambitious to go get new stallions. We're ambitious to get very high quality stallions. And we're ambitious to carry on a great tradition here at Gainesway that Mr. Gaines started. The Beck family has continued on.
I'm excited about all of them. Caraconti's off to a wonderful start. I'm excited about Tappert's chances at stud.
Horses like Tappert, who was a $1.2 million yearling and a classic winner, and is by Tappert himself.
McKinsey is a stallion prospect. It's the first stallion prospect I was part of at Gainesway. He was always top class. His Whitney at Saratoga is one of my favorite races of his.
McKinsey has won the Whitney!
The Book of Mary guy was unbelievable. We're really excited about him at Gainesway right now.
You never know where the next good horse is coming from, and as long as we're out there bringing them in, the sky's the limit.
Back with you. Program presented by Nyra Bets, where you can play all the action. Go to nyrabets.com or download the app to get involved. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Great time to get signed up and started. Just getting started with a new year and already down the road to the Triple Crown. We're going to bring you a lot of that action. The promo code to use at sign up at Nyra Bets, bonus 200. And get a $200 bonus in your account right away. Tampa Bay. Race 6 is coming up next. It's 7/8 of a mile. As we mentioned, non-winners of 2 since back on July the 7th. And here comes our post parade. We're going to see Salsa Rita here in a moment, who comes in off a win to get through that. Non-winners of 1 in a year, and apparently the public like to see that W. So they'll back this 7-year-old mare again.
Yeah, I think she's dramatically overbet. She won a conditional non-winners in a year. This is now the conditional, but for 2 in the same period of time. So she's going to win those kind of conditions back-to-back after going 4 for 68 before the last race. Hard pass at 8-5.
Next door, sun-drenched 6-year-old mare who was 8-1.
Yeah, well, she couldn't even win that condition. I prefer others.
Atlantic Princess, 4-1, coming in from Delaware.
She's turning back in distance, something her trainer does not have a ton of success with, or great numbers, and dropping down, though. But she makes some sense, but will she get enough pace?
Orner Angel, 5-2 with Pablo Morales.
I like this one. She's been in this condition, but with the lack of speed in here, Pablo Morales could just wire the field on a dawdling pace.
Fun Patty, this gray is going to cut back in distance off the claim.
Yeah, she's got absolutely no speed, though, and she cuts back in distance. So a plotter cutting back with no speed in a paceless race, not that good a recipe, especially at 5-2.
And 6-year-old mare by Tail of the Cat, who's 3 for 23 lifetime on the outside.
The best thing you can say with this one is it could be forwardly placed, which could help in this spot.
14-1 for the 8 for Gerard Ochoa. Just 1 win at the meet. See if we can get another one here coming up. At 9-5, Salsa Rita from that inside post with the scratch of the 1. Let's go to Jonathan for more.
Yeah, Wolfie, I completely agree with Andy. The 2 Salsa Ritas, just a little bit of a short price for me, considering the circumstances, considering the level. So as you start to work through the other horses in the race, there is a couple of horses that can maybe kind of get you excited of some possibilities, but they're really up against it from a pace standpoint. And unfortunately, I just came to the conclusion that if Salsa Rita can repeat the previous race, run her last race, which is definitely a question mark, she'll win. She's not a good betting proposition, and I can make up a horse that I think you should bet instead of her. But I think if you're playing this race, you have to build around the fact that she's likely to run first or second. You're not going to find a lot of value in the win pool. possibly in the exactor of the try. I just think from a pace standpoint and based on how she ran last time, she feels like the most likely winner of this race, just not a horse I'd be cutting in line to bet to win.
Certainly not at 2-1. She had been facing a lot tougher company, open company, for some time. And when she did take that big drop, we saw what happened. She was in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I mean, John is not wrong. She ran a figure last time that would make her tough in this race. I can't argue with that. He's just right. And listen, maybe she improved for a new trainer. She was coming off a trainer change for a trainer who at that point in 2021 was 0 for 24. So maybe now with a trainer who's 9 for 16 in 2021, 9 for 57 with 16%, maybe just moving to a better barn, move this horse up. So I think that's a reasonable point because it was a significant improvement over her recent races. And she's not slow, so she can be forward. So I won't be shocked, I guess, she wins. I just think she's a bad gamble at 2-1, and I prefer the 5, Ornery Angel.
And how about, we're looking at the 4 right now, how about Atlantic Princess at least getting back to a track where she's won 75% of her starts?
Yeah, right. She's the only place she seems to run particularly well. I just worry about, I like cutbacks, and she certainly can run well going shorter. I just worry. But listen, when she's been in sprints, she's been a bit closer, and she's a very fair price at 9-2, so I wouldn't knock her. You don't like the fact that when she left, she was in lousy form. That's a bit of a concern. Had she just lost her form.
Meanwhile, here's the one you like, Ornery Angel. So she's 5-2, co-second choice. And you expect to see her in front?
I'd like to see her in front. I mean, you never really know. I mean, some jockey moves. I think she has the most speed of anybody in this race, but I won't be surprised to see Salsa Rita be a little bit more aggressive and maybe get it. But I'd like to see the rider try to control this race. And keep in mind, Salsa Rita is going from 5.5 furlongs to 7 furlongs, for whatever that's worth. Maybe she'll be fine at 7 furlongs, but she is stretching out.
In distance, she has only tried the 2 one time in her career. May not mean anything. It was a long time ago. Didn't hit the board on that occasion. Meanwhile, at 7, the other second choice at 5-2. This is Fun Patty. So New Barn just claimed and comes in off a win. Another one and one for non-winners of 1 in a year.
Yeah, I love a turn back, but this is a trainer for what it's worth. Has only had 3 claims in the last 5 years, and 0 for 3. Actually, 2 of them lost and were off the board at 4-5, both at Belterra. For whatever that's worth. I just can't take a horse that lacks speed in this race, cutting back in distance at a short price.
So 3 of them on the board between 2-1 and 5-2. The 2, the 5, the 7. I mean, the nature of this condition is that no one would surprise you here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, this is not a circuit we're overly familiar with. And these are lower level horses. So it's, you don't, I think one of the bigger differences between higher level horses and the lower level horses is reliability.
They show up.
The better horses, the best horses, and, they show up. You have a reasonable expectation. Whereas with cheaper horses, they're just not as likely to run necessarily as well from week to week. Not always the case, but often.
Yeah, but it could be, as you said, it's a case of who's feeling good on the day at this lower level.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's something that Maggie's so good at, obviously. And I mean, she could look on TV, and maybe I'm sure she could do a better job than most people on TV. But my guess is, if you could talk to her about it, she'll be coming on shortly. It's always better to be close to them, and it's also close to them, from race to race, and that's the thing that separates Maggie from really everybody else. That's something that, as usual in this game, something that somebody does so well, people haven't emulated as much as they should. Maggie doesn't tell you how they look today. She tells you how they look today based on but also how they looked in previous races. Looking better, looking worse. And everything is relative. There's some horses that just always look kind of lousy and run well. There's some horses that always look great, and they don't run particularly well. And Maggie, because she keeps extensive notes and she's so dedicated, brings that to the table. And that's, to me, what's different. There are many things that have differentiated Maggie from a lot of people. But to me, that's something that really makes her stand out especially.
She's coming on the program in about 45 minutes or so. So she'll be joining me here on the desk. In the meantime, the favoritism has shifted here to the 7 to Fun Patty. This 6-year-old mare who you mentioned the poor limited stats, claiming stats for this barn of Stephen Cahill. But does come in off a win. In fact, the last 2 starts has been competitive, but now shortens up to 7 furlongs.
Right, and claimed from a trainer that doesn't have particularly good stats. I mean, it was 9 for 104, 17 seconds, so maybe he was a bit unlucky during the course of the year. But it's not as though this is claimed by this trainer that's, limited starters won at 18% with 45 starters, so you're not moving to a lesser barn in theory. And I think that's something you want to look at. What's going on here? Is this the little...
We still got a couple of minutes. Yeah, they're still making their way to the gate. Meanwhile, at Oaklawn, we got 11 minutes to the 4th coming up out in Hot Springs, where Wild Behavior, who has won 6 of his last 7 starts, he is the current favorite in that race, comes in off a win. He's with a new barn, though, now. He's just claimed by Joe Sharp. And he had to battle with a horse in that race when he still held on to win. But there's going to be some other speed he's going to have to deal with again today.
I agree. I mean, he does feel like he's the speed of the speed, Wild Behavior, but with horses like the 5 Freudian Fate, horse we saw run quite a bit in New York, a New York bred, as a matter of fact, and the 6 Bull Hollow, you're probably dealing with a pretty quick pace. They're not going to run this race at Oaklawn. In Tampa, they're just going to walk around in circles in front of the gate until they're all too tired out. I thought this was an interesting race. Could the 6 Bull Hollow maybe get the right? I don't know. It's a tough stalk. I don't know. I don't like the 8, Baby I'm Perfect, coming from New York. I think that horse is all dressed up with nowhere to go.
Got beat. Yeah, that horse got beat by a Charlie Baker horse off the Claiborne, went gate to wire, but has put up a couple of big figures. It's going to be an interesting race, that 4th at Oaklawn. We'll get to it as soon as they run this one at Tampa. But Wild Behavior has won 6 of 7. Freudian Fates won 3 out of 4.
Amazing record for Wild Behavior. How about Alexandros? Can Alexandros on the rail pick up the pieces? Ran a big figure 2 back, disappointed last time out, but maybe getting a little pace in this race could help.
Yeah, John Court will be aboard for David Vance.
Yeah. No, I thought this was a tough race. It'll be interesting to see Wild Behavior. It's just, I mean, he's amazing, right? He shows up every time. Canterbury, Remington Park, Oaklawn. And he wasn't a big favorite last time at Oaklawn. He was 4-1 in that last race. So it's not like he was a horse that, they assumed just overlaid the field. Probably ran against tougher horses and, still ran reasonably well.
Oh, good one coming up next at Oaklawn. In the meantime, we're getting close to opening the gates here in the 6th from Tampa. Starts the late pick 4. And it's kind of going back and forth between the 2 and the 7 for favoritism in this spot. I mean, looking ahead, there's no standouts, I thought.
At Tampa? Let's see.
In terms of playing this pick 4.
I like a horse in the 7th race at Tampa. I like the 6, Lion Charmer. I'm not sure I remember why. I did the work last night, but I will reacquaint myself with the race. I thought he was very interesting. That was a tough pace he was involved in, and I thought he'd have an easier time. And here, there should be some pace, but I was hoping he got a little more patient ride from Gallardo.
And then a 5-furlong turf sprint to close it out. Starts here, pick 4, 7 furlongs, main track from Tampa. Let's go to Jason Beam.
Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Good start out wide for Taylor VK, driving through down toward the inside. Salsa Rita is forwardly placed, and Salsa Rita going to assume command. Taylor VK moving up on the outside to take over 2nd. In between horses, Ornery Angel, Atlantic Princess, they're together 3rd and 4th. Is joining them to the inside is Sundrench. The top 5 only covered by 3.5 or 4. It's 2 more then, back to Fun Patty, who's at the back, and a speed duel percolates here up on the front end. It's on the outside, Taylor VK, on the inside, Salsa Rita. Those 2 now 3.5 lengths ahead of Atlantic Princess, who puts a nose into that 3rd spot. Sundrench stays toward the inside, 4th, 4 lengths adrift. It's another length then back to Ornery Angel, and still Fun Patty at the back. 22 and 3 for the opening quarter mile. That duel is now won now as Taylor VK goes into the far turn, 3 ahead. Salsa Rita, Jose Batista drops back off that one in 2nd. Atlantic Princess trying to get going from 3rd. Is it 2 more then back to Ornery Angel? Fun Patty is out of last, and Sundrench now at the back. As they wind around the far turn, Taylor VK, Salsa Rita, Atlantic Princess trying to close back in as they come toward the top of the stretch. Taylor VK, that lead is down to a neck, and that lead is just about gone. Here's Atlantic Princess up on the outside to now go to the front. Taylor VK back to 2nd, trying to run on down the outside. Ornery Angel still pitching away. Salsa Rita down toward the inside. Fun Patty with a late run. Final furlong time now. Atlantic Princess, Fernando de la Cruz Quickly pulling away here. They're in front by 3.5 or 4. Ornery Angel, Tail of VK, Fun Patty going to battle out the Miners. But inside the final 50 yards, Atlantic Princess. Home free won it by 4 in the end. Tail of VK was second. Ornery Angel third. Fourth went to Fun Patty. And fifth, Salsa Rita.
Atlantic Princess, she should probably make her permanent home here in Oldsmar. Now 4 for 5 at Tampa.
And she really benefited from the fact that the speeds didn't want to go. I don't know why Pablo Morales chose to rate Ornery Angel and limit her chances. But he got herself into the race. And when the two, Salsa Rita had absolutely nothing in this race coming back. I mean, she was brutal in here. Just sort of stalked the trip. And even the 8, Tail of VK hung on for second, gamely holding on. But this horse, a rocking chair winner. And Greg, as you pointed out, she's now 4 for 5 at Tampa.
4.85 finish. Yeah, it's an impressive record. We go back to Oaklawn. Here's Alexandros. John Court for David Vance.
Yeah, I thought this horse could take advantage perhaps of some speed up front.
Wild Behavior, the 2-1 favorite. He's won 6 of his last 7, including last time out when he had to battle up front early.
Doesn't matter what barn he's in, but I will say, off the claim in dirt sprints at Oaklawn over the last 5 years, limited sample size, Joe Sharp's just 0 for 5.
7-1 next door on Flat Luck. You put together back-to-back wins at Oaklawn and Churchill back in April and May.
Off a 7-month layoff, and Ron McQuett does not have particularly good numbers coming off of layoffs.
War Detonator, 17-1 next door, was beat half-length to Cave Run last start.
Yeah, I mean, did have the run of the race last time out. There's other speed today. It's tough to make a strong case given the race dynamics.
Freudian Fate, double-digit odds, and a horse who was 5-1 has won 3 of his last 4.
No respect for the New York bred.
Wow.
Very hurtful, Greg. Very hurtful.
He really did not show up in his last start. That was a tough spot, though. That was a 40,000 starter allowance. Bull Hollow, speed here.
Yeah, this one should be the stalking outside speed. Did no running against Tougher, though, last time at Oaklawn, but it was 40-1.
Here's Cave Run. We mentioned he had beat War Detonator. That was 2 starts back for him. Luis Contreras aboard.
Yeah, it's hard to know what happened last time out. He really didn't seem to run his race. Maybe it was a bit of a tougher spot. David Vance, though, second off the claim. He does not have great numbers off the claim.
And Baby I'm Perfect coming in from New York, but you're against.
Yeah, I thought hung like a chandelier to Aristocratic last time out, and his wins haven't been against particularly strong fields. I thought the local horse is rated to be better.
Could there potentially be a hot pace in this 4th here at Oaklawn with more on the pace of the race? Let's go back to Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of pace in this race. And listen, I'm seeing a trend already with only 3 races. The first race was won from off of the pace, a closer. The second race, a maiden. It was a good maiden race, but there was a horse that won the race, just held on by a nose. A deep closer of Ron Moquet's came flying late to just miss by a zap, and then we saw a deep closer come up and win the 3rd race. So I'm looking for a fast pace in here. These 5 of these 8 horses have pace, and I'm in agreement with Andy. Can Alexandros pick up the pieces with John Court? If I'm John Court, I'm just praying for that speed duel up front. I'm in agreement also that Wild Behavior is probably the speed of the speed, but will he clear early? I think a couple of these guys are going to send hard because the horses must be on the lead types to do any good. If they're not on the lead, they stop. So that's going to set it up for Alexandros, I believe. And even a horse like Flat Lucky, the 3 horse at a juicy price at 8-1 right now. And for the 25,000, he's won 9 of his career races. And I'll leave it with you guys. What do you think?
Gee, you look cold. It looks cold there. That's what I think. I like the 5 Freudian Fate. This is a horse that, if you look at the race 2 back, ran extremely fast. If you look at Timeform US or other speed figures, ran a very fast race that day when Jason Barkley claimed Freudian Fate. Comes back and runs in a starter allowance and doesn't run particularly well. Shows some early speed, gets involved in the pace early, and then just kind of falls apart late. Now, Jason Barkley could run this horse for a tag again, saying, you know, this horse wasn't as good as I thought he was going to be. Let's run him for a tag again. Maybe someone will take him from us. But instead, he decides to run this horse protected again for Maggie Moss, who obviously knows how to play the claiming game. I feel like there has to be a reason why the horse ran so poorly. The connections found out what that reason is, and there's a possibility that Freudian Fate could run the race that he ran 2 back. And if he does that, he'll win this race and make that 11-1 look like free money.
Yeah, I mean, he can get back to that race 2 starts back. He's going to be awfully tough in here, especially if he can sit and stalk off all this speed.
12-1 is a great bet at that decision, and I argue with anything that Jonathan said. the one thing that concerns me about that race. It's an outlier. You look at the Beyer speed figure in that race of 85. It's completely dichotomous to any race he's ever run. And his best figure besides that is a 72. And that was the one race he was in Chris Hartman's barn. And Chris Hartman's a very, very dangerous claiming trainer. So, listen, he's 13-1 now. I agree with Jonathan. I agree with what he said. And it's probably a good price to take for that to happen, just not for me.
Down to 9-1 now. Meanwhile, this one's steadily
9-1, excuse me, yep.
Been taking money. Alexandros on the rail with John Court, 5-2 co-favorite.
I kind of like Alexandros. You know what the problem with him is? Isn't he sort of the moto closer in a race packed with speed? I mean, that's why he's 5-2. Everyone sees it. But, on the other hand, he's got credentials, and it makes sense. And, you look at him, he's much more consistent as far as his speed figures and more reliable to run it. On the other hand, he's a fraction of the price of the horse that Jonathan was talking about. And, listen, I'm rooting for Freudian Fate. I'm not really officially a New York bred. I was bred in New Jersey.
Were you? This is breaking news.
I was born in Princeton Hospital.
Okay.
I lived in New Jersey the first 10-plus years of my life. But then I moved to Saratoga. I've sort of adopted New York as my town.
I feel like I've been lied to now.
Do you feel cheated?
I do. I thought you were born and bred New Yorker.
No, I lived in Pennington, New Jersey, about 5 miles outside of Princeton the first 10, 11 years of my life. I don't look bad. They were dark years. I didn't like the racetrack, so I
we have a feature coming up on that later, actually. Andy Serling, the early years.
The dark years.
Wild Behavior, the 2, remains our favorite here in this 4th from Oaklawn. Vic Stoffer with the call.
They're at the post. They're off. Freudian Fate and Bull Hollow, Cave Run and Baby I'm Perfect. Then comes At the Rail and Alexandros, followed by, towards the back of the pack, Wild Behavior and Flat Lucky. Up the backstretch they run, and Bull Hollow has the lead. Baby I'm Perfect on the move outside of Cave Run. Not going very fast up the backstretch. Bull Hollow's ahead in front. Then Freudian Fate and Alexandros. They're 4th and 5th, but only a length and a half off the lead. 2 lengths further back to War Detonator. Flat Lucky's inside of him. Wild Behavior is the trailer. 5 lengths first to last around the far turn. Bull Hollow, Cave Run, and a 3 wide Baby I'm Perfect. These 3 come to the top of the stretch. Cave Run and Bull Hollow just in front of Baby I'm Perfect. 2.5 lengths further back to Wild Behavior, who's gone from 5th up into 4th and now on the move. Final furlong they run, Bull Hollow and Baby I'm Perfect dropping out of it. Cave Run, here's Alexandros up the rail, and Alexandros makes a move to challenge Cave Run. Alexandros inside, Cave Run outside down to these 2. Alexandros puts a neck in front and he's got it. Alexandros in front. Alexandros beat Cave Run. Flat Lucky was 3rd. Bull Hollow finished 4th.
Shortest way around the racetrack the entire way for Alexandros. Everyone kind of forgot about that one on the rail, and it works out for him. John Court aboard for the win.
Yeah. You announced, I think, about this point when he was still in 3rd. I don't think Alexandros could have worked out a better trip, and he did. It was, the thing that helped with him was the pace didn't develop as Pinnock anticipated when only the 6 really went. I don't know if the 2 Wild Behavior had trouble at the start. We might want to watch that again. But at least for that, John Court was able to put this horse in position, so he wasn't really compromised by the fact the pace wasn't as strong, and that's what helped get it done.
Wins for the 9th time in 37 starts, 7-year-old son of Flatter. Bred by Claiborne Farm and Adele Dilschneider. And getting his picture taken again here. David Vance, John Court, 61-year-old John Court. Still winning races out in Hot Springs. All of these prices for you when we come back. We will set up the 5th as well, which kicks off a pick 5. It's Alexandros in the 4th from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Stay with us. More America's Day at the Races right after this.
Precocity.
Strategic speed. Some speed at 2, but can carry it on through their later careers.
Improbable, full of run. Improbable, now a Grade 1 winner. It is a complete runaway, an authoritative run.
It's improbable to win the Whitney.
You don't have to be a multi-millionaire to get into this game. You can have a few $1,000s and have fun with it. But with the bonds, you're actually going to win. I've had the opportunity to win multiple races. In fact, this year I won 2 times in one day, which is almost unheard of to be able to do. This is going to happen with them. You will get into the winner's circle in Saratoga. You will walk that horse in, and you will stand there, look at the crowd, and the bonds will take you there and get you into that winner's circle. And it won't cost you a lot of money.
Smile Happy was a TDN rising star following his maiden win at Keeneland. From there, he captured the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes to remain undefeated and earning points toward the Kentucky Derby. In future Pool 1, Smile Happy was individual leader by lowest odds. Among the top of his crop by stakes winners and earnings, Run Happy continues his rise and is priced for success. Call today and book your mare to Red Hot Sire Run Happy, standing in legendary Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. For racing fans, probably the best rooms in the entire country right there with that view. Yeah. We're going to go back to Tampa Bay. Prices, Atlantic Princess, now 4 for 5 in Oldsmar, Florida. Wins for Gerald Bennett.
Yeah, nice ride. Got good position when the pace came up kind of tepid. And just galloped here. And as you pointed out, that record at Tampa is incredible. Could be a true horse for course.
Pays $9.20 for the win. Cairo Prince, 4-year-old filly. Now 5 for 15. Career. Back at Oaklawn, Alexandros John Court, patient, stayed inside, and it worked to his advantage with this 7-year-old son of Flatter.
Seems like he probably ended up the favorite at 660 and justified that backing with the victory. K-Run ran very well, bounced back off the poor performance last time out off the claim.
1-7-3 finish that 4th at Oaklawn. We will set up the pick 5 from Oaklawn when we come back. It kicks off with the non-winners at 2 lifetime 6-furlong sprint. When we return, stick with us. More America's Day at the Races right after this timeout.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 7 millionaires. With over 10% stakes performers, his recent top runners include Tarabi, placed in the Grade 1 Spinaway and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, Grade 2 winner Plum Ali, multi-millionaire Shivaji, plus these standout performers. Now his biggest book in the past decade will be 3-year-olds in 2022. A proven value sire, First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
For a time, as many as 350 major league players converged in Hot Springs, Arkansas each spring to prepare for the upcoming season.
Ownership felt they needed to boil out the alcoholic microbes. Hot Springs was known as a place that had therapeutic waters, and they came for that reason. And then the ball players turned out to love it because they really not only did get in shape, but they had a great time.
By the 1930s, nearly half of all major league teams had, at some point, used Hot Springs as their spring training base. Plus, about half of all prominent ball players visited Hot Springs individually. Babe Ruth used to visit Hot Springs to work his way into shape, a place to prepare for spring training. In fact, the Babe even used the hot healing waters to recover from influenza. This wall at the Gangsters Museum of America in Hot Springs represents the long list of Hall of Fame baseball greats who trained here. This winter is a reminder of why baseball eventually migrated away from Hot Springs. The rain proved to be a disruption, and sometimes even the cold and snow wiped out valuable practice time. Although by the 1930s, most teams moved to Florida and Arizona, Hot Springs would continue to be a destination for players to work out before joining their major league squads for decades to come.
Rich history in Hot Springs, and we're going to tell you a little more about that history with the gangster life and the gambling that was so prescient there back in the 30s, a little bit later on in the program. But a place that I cannot believe that I have not been to yet. I'm gonna have to make it to Hot Springs at some point.
Yeah, I had fun when I went there. I went there, I think, 3 years ago. It's hard to remember. Time is kind of folded in on itself, but I was there for the Apple Blossom with Lafitte. We had a good time. It's nice being there. It's a fun town.
Well, they just had, on January the 1st, the beginning of that road to the Triple Crown, Smarty Jones. And Kenny McPeak just keeps getting more and more Triple Crown contenders. Dash, attack, winning, and start number 2. He's a perfect 2 for 2 now.
And he looked like the second coming of Smarty Jones, winning the Smarty Jones. Similar silks. He's got that white blaze on his face coming down the stretch and covering this race with Lafitte while you were away. And we both sort of had the same thought. Look at him. Looks a little like Smarty Jones winning it. The race came back with an 82 buyer, which obviously is not going to win the Kentucky Derby, but his second career start, going 2 turns. A very nice step forward for him off of his maiden win, and this horse had a lot of room to improve and a lot of time to do it. So he's promising. And I think one of the things to remember, there aren't a lot of newly turned 3-year-olds out there that you're going, Jack Christopher's got to show he can go a distance of ground.
Another son of Munnings, as is this one.
Yes, right, exactly. I mean, these Bob Baffert horses aren't even eligible for the Derby at this point, so who knows what's going on with that. So I like the first 2 in the Remsen, look pretty good. I'm sure California will have their share of good horses. They're going to have a different trainer as things stand right now. So we'll see, so there's plenty of room at the top. So these are just a start to get to know these horses.
Horse broke a little flat-footed in this race too and still was able to win impressively. Took a move forward, speed figure-wise as well. And Kenny McPeak, we were talking about it off air. I mean, he has Smile Happy, who looks so impressive. Kentucky Jockey Club winner. Tis the Bomb he has as well. Rattle and Roll is going to start back breezing very shortly. So it looks like he's going to be well stocked on this road to the Triple Crown.
No, it's always good to have as many as you can because it's such a tough road to stay on. And I have to like what you saw from Smile Happy, the Kentucky Jockey Club, and say there's room. So we'll see what we get from these horses and look forward to seeing more and more preps, whether they're here, Oaklawn, other racetracks around the country, Florida.
Meanwhile, New Year's Day here in New York, son of Tappet was not even planning to go into this race. Kelly Breen wanted to actually go to the Withers. That will be the next spot. Last-minute decision showed up here, and it paid off.
Greg, just so you're looking, it was worse. It got a little foggy before this race. It's an interesting discussion. The pace was quick, but the track, the whole 4 days that week, particularly on Saturday, was extremely kind to horses that were forwardly placed as he was. And he was there with Hagler, who's just not that good and can't get the distance. The second-place finisher, who did save ground. The rail was good on Saturday, but did run okay to be second. The race can't with a 73 buyer. Let's not kid ourselves. We're homers, but we're realistic as well. These horses have to improve a lot. 82 for the winner at Oaklawn, and he's got to improve. So they have to get better. He was with the track, but we'll see. There's time, and it was a wet track. I think they're saying the first 3 finishers. I think the third finisher, the favorite,
Cook Creek.
Yeah, a little bit compromised by trying to stay a little closer than he might have wanted because of the way the track was playing. They're going to come back in the Withers. Constitution Lawyer, who broke his maiden with an 84 buyer this weekend for Ray Handel. He's pointing towards the Wither. horse who could get better. So we'll see. The road's going to get tougher, and they're going to have to prove they belong on it.
Withers, 2 turns. That's February 5th. So as Andy mentioned, a lot of runners eyeing that spot. And Kelly Greenfields with Courvoisier, winner of that Jerome. He's still very green and has a lot of room to move forward. And he's been showing it in the mornings. We'll wait and see if he can. He will have to move forward. And Kelly Breen acknowledges that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can be excited, but you need to be realistic. The last 2 races he's run, the best 2 races he's run, were without Lasix. So he seems to improve being taken off Lasix.
Current odds for the 7th at Tampa, 1 mile on the turf. Non-winners of 3 lifetime in here as we take a look at Clemson Tiger.
Clemson Tiger, I don't know why Rocco Bowen ripped his face off last time. He closed the time before because the pace a little quicker. The pace was slower. Don't drag him back. He's not going to be the speed here, but I think Rocco needs to have him more in the race because he just dragged him out of the race last time.
JoJo Katz next door. He was impressive winning last time out from well off the pace.
Yeah, I mean, that was a non-winners of 2 lifetime. This is non-winners of 3, so it's going to get tougher. He did make a good run, and the speeds didn't collapse in there, and he should get some pace to run at today.
In it for the love at 18-1.
He's going to have to improve off his last, but he does come out of a race where the pace collapsed, and he was chasing the pace, so perhaps he can run better. He should be a bit forward.
Highly noted. Another big price with speed next door, the 4.
You got to think coming out of sprint races that he's supposed to be the speed off the claim for a trainer. 0 for 5 off the claim on the turf.
Still, there he is. Yeah, he should be in front here. That's got to be the game plan with this horse. Stretching out. Who was a 2-time winner on the turf. Marv's Magic, here's the favorite, 5-2 for Anthony Granitz.
I don't know. A couple of second-place finishes, lost to an ex-Klarovich runner, unleveraged in his last start of Wire of the Field. He ran fine, but seconds, a lot of seconds.
He'll be coming from pretty far out of it as well. Lion Charmer, the 6 here you like.
He is my top choice. Second off a layoff, aggressive ride, and a pace that came apart last time out. Think he gets a more reasonable trip and has been running at some better horses.
Sam Camacho, we saw him win on microphone, the first-time starter for Chad Brown. He's on Putin on Lion.
It's a tough race, though, for a stretch-out type. There's a lot of speed.
Vintner at 10-1.
I mean, he just doesn't win. He's 2 for 35. That's my biggest issue with him.
But coming off back-to-back runner-up finishes here at Tampa. Here's Prado's Playboy.
Looking to regain his form in a new barn as things seem to decline, but he may just not be good enough.
And Golovkin, Jose Ferrer, 8-1, stretched out on the turf last start. He was a distant 3rd.
He set a very fast pace last time. It's going to be a different story today, but still, he just doesn't give me a lot of confidence with his post and the other speed in the race.
That's your field 4 minutes away, 7th here at Tampa. Let's go back to Jonathan.
Yeah, there's a couple of horses in here I think that offer a little bit of value, the 4 and the 8. I'll start with the 4, highly noted. This is a horse that came back last time, ran on the dirt, didn't run particularly well, but does have some speed figures, although some of them were turf sprinting, that kind of fit with this group. And this is the most daunting group that I think that you can find. So I thought the 4, highly noted, is one that you'd want to consider. Does have some races around 2 turns that make a little bit of sense. And I like horses that are tactical. This horse is drawn towards the inside, should be able to get position moving forward, and should be able to get in and out of holes, saving ground towards the inside. The other one that I'll mention, the 8, Venter. This is a horse that if you watched the race back last time, the horse broke slow, and then the rider was fighting wide all the way around there, was wide the race prior to that. I'm hoping that maybe this horse can work out a little bit of a better trip in here and should be able to outrun the odds of 8-1. So those are 2 horses I'd be keying off of, the 4 and the 8. I think you can try to spice up your exotics with those 2 horses.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. 19-1 on that 4, highly noted, and then 8-1 on Vintner. We talked about the speed of the 4. Does the 7 and the presence of Putin online here try and make life difficult for him?
I think it's really up to Sammy Camacho. I don't disagree. He could be very forward in this race. I don't think he's as fast as highly noted, and highly noted is supposed to be the speed. I don't like him stretching out in this race. I wish Jonathan the best of luck. And he's a huge price, so I don't knock betting big prices, but I just don't think he's good enough.
Well, the other one Jonathan mentioned, this 8 here, Vintner, at 8-1.
Yeah, I don't get him either, but he's a good price. I don't want to knock him. He's just not for me. I didn't love his recent race. I can't endorse a horse that's 2 for 35 lifetime. I'm sorry. He's just had too many chances for me. He is a big price most of the time, so it's not like he's supposed to be winning those races, but he's not really performing that well. Like I said, I like the 4 in here. I'm sorry, the 6, Lion Charmer. To me, Lion Charmer is a horse that just got too engaged coming off about close to a 3-month layoff last time out in a race that collapsed. I thought his prior race behind He's a Kitten, those might just be better horses that he was running in New Jersey, and I just thought maybe he fit very, very well in here. He seemed pretty logical to me. He's going to have to rate and get the right trip, though. But he has rated successfully in the past.
Oh, good betting race. I mean, your favorite's 3-1 in here. That's a 5 where you're looking at in those red silks with that star. Marv's Magic will be coming from pretty far out of it. 2 tries at Tampa, 2 second-place finishes in his last 2 starts. 7-year-old son of Animal Kingdom, and he would love to see the 4 and the 7 battle up front.
I agree. He should get some pace, but he's gotten pace in his last 2 starts. I was looking. I did look up the unleveraged race last time, and that race did kind of fall apart, so it did sort of fall into his lap. Unleveraged was a 9-5. Was 9-5 in that race. And he was coming off a return effort, I want to say, at Belmont Park. He hadn't run in quite a while. He'd run for Chad Brown at Saratoga in 20, the pandemic year. Because I remember watching the race with him with nobody around. I can remember sort of vision, that empty clubhouse at Saratoga, and he did not run well, dropping down, and that was his second race back.
So he's a 3-1 next door Lion Charmer, who you like 3-1 as well. Those
Ooh,
2,
he's taking all the money.
Yeah, vying for favoritism. And then
JoJo
JoJo Katz, another one who's going to come from. He has not had very fast paces in front of him, and he still was able to get up to win last time out, despite an opening 24 quarter.
Yeah, I'm afraid he may not be good enough, but I agree with you. I mean, you look at that race. The speeds ran, 1, 2, 3 speeds ran 4, 3, and 2. So it was not a race that came apart. And it's to his credit that he was able to close. I'm just worried he's just not that good, I wonder if the 1's going to run a little bit better today. I have to think that Rocco is going to learn from his last race just not to completely take himself out of the race like he did in his last start.
In a tough trip that day.
That rough start. It wasn't. It appeared to me as though he just was determined to sort of drag the horse out of the race. Maybe because they were successful taking him back the time before he wanted to do it. But I think the pace got a little hotter the time before, and that worked in his favor. Whereas last time the pace was not hot, and it worked against him because you look at his previous races, he's a horse that was forward, and he had won the turf being forward.
Total reversal of
right.
what he used to do. Yeah, he used to be in front on the lead. And then they found something with him, obviously. November 27th came from off the pace from the clouds to win.
But let him find that position, as opposed to – and listen, maybe there's something I didn't see, but to me it really looked like it was that rough start was more about him just they sort of came up, but he kept pulling him out of the race. And I looked and I thought, oh, well, he came from behind the time before with Rocco. Maybe he wanted to ride him in a similar fashion.
So this race coming up here, mile on the turf from Tampa, and back at Hot Springs we have the pick 5 that begins next in their 5th race. They'll kick things off with the non-winners of 2 6-furlong sprint. Shack's Way in that race, off an 11-month layoff against Better, hit the board, ran 3rd, beat 2 lengths for Diodoro.
Yeah, I thought this was a very tough race, the race next coming up. And I agree that Shack's Way, especially, Diodoro scares me and everything. But I had a lot of horses open in this race. I thought it was tough. And isn't Shack's Way supposed to be the controlling speed?
You would think.
He looks like the fastest horse in the race. And last time he couldn't make the lead. Here, I don't think it's as contentious up front.
Got a New York bred, 2 winning Nations outside post in that race for Mike Maker. Coming back for the first time since January of 21. Ricardo Santana Jr. will be aboard there. So we'll get to that race coming up. Pick 5 sequence, of course, includes that feature with the half-sister to Essential Quality, famed for Brad Cox, in that 8th on the card.
I'm wondering at what point in her career we'll stop referring to her as that. How many losses do you pile up before? It's like the horses that cost a lot of money at the sales. The best day for when they don't pan out for them is when they turn 5 years old and the DRF after their 4-year-old season stops printing the auction prices for horses. So, you don't have to see, wow, they paid like $1 million for this horse. And
you remember the Green Monkey?
Yeah, I was there for the debut at Belmont Park. The word was, it's amazing. He was like 3 to 5. and yet everybody knew he couldn't run. I think I still lost in the race.
You couldn't help with that purchase price.
There was a big crowd at Belmont in the paddock for that. I have a lot of people were there to see the Green Monkey. That was a big story. He ran, what, 3 times, right? He ended up in California on the grass.
Did he?
Yeah, he made a long trek across the country to take his show on the road.
We're set here 7th at Tampa. 1 mile on the lawn. Andy likes the 6 Lion Charmer. I believe Marv's Magic, the 5, still favored in here. Fernando de la Cruz trying to win for just the 3rd time in 21 career starts. Let's send it out to Jason Beam for the call.
Love. Highly Noted will be next. Vintner coming forward. Swinging on Marv's Magic, and Golovkin will be all set for a start here. The late pick 3 on a Friday. Golovkin. Jose Ferrer to the outside gate. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Highly Noted in the center goes out to the early lead. In it for the Love is forwardly placed, and Golovkin from the extreme outside now moving up on the outside. But it's Highly Noted, and Jesus Castanon will lead him by the wire the first time round. Golovkin away in second. Lion Charmer tugs up inside of Golovkin now to take over that second spot. Putin Online was out in the 4th position. Then we come back to In it for the Love, who broke sharply, settles back 5th as Putin Online corners a little wide there. Took Vintner out as well. In between horses, Mars Magic, Clemson Tiger, they both moved up on that turn. JoJo Cats with 1 beat, and that's Prado's Playboy, who's about 7 lengths behind the next horse in front and about 15 off the lead. So they have 5 furlongs left to go. 23-2 for the opening quarter mile. Highly Noted in front of length and 3/4. To Lion Charmer, who finds a good spot in second. Golovkin 3 deep. Putin Online on the outside is 4 deep as they run toward the far turn. Length and a half more then. Back to In it for the Love. Clemson Tiger starts to advance toward the inside. Is drawn within 2 lengths of the front. Mars Magic with 3 beat early on. Those are Vintner, JoJo Cats, and Prado's Playboy still detached from the field. Got to be 15 lengths behind. 47-3, so they take their run toward the far turn. And up on the front end, it's still Highly Noted. Lion Charmer, Golovkin trying to move out 3 deep. Clemson Tiger awaits room down toward the inside. It's traveling pretty well just outside of that one. Comes In it for the Love. JoJo Cats has made up significant ground. Going to try to follow the move of Clemson Tiger. As Highly Noted turns for home, still the leader. It's Highly Noted off the turn by a length. Golovkin, here's Marv's Magic out wide. Clemson Tiger sees daylight, looking for room. Lion Charmer, JoJo Cats trying to get out as well. Marv's Magic up on the outside along with Highly Noted. Clemson Tiger looking for room, and Vintner starting to warm up down the extreme outside. It's Marv's Magic who hits the front. Vintner in tight down toward the inside. Clemson Tiger, Marv's Magic to win it. Second was Vintner. Got it getting loose late for third. Was In it for the Love, and multiple horse photo for 4th.
Marv's Magic, 7-year-old son of Animal Kingdom, now 3 for 21 lifetime.
Caught the pace to run out today, but to be honest with you, he was much the best. I mean, he made the lead by mid-stretch in here, and the race didn't sort of come apart at the seams until the very late stages when the 4 kind of fell apart. Nice close for second by the 8, who Jonathan mentioned, Vintner, but a distant second. And Clemson Tiger made a little run up the inside, but ultimately just didn't have enough. It felt like In it for Love got third, but the winner much the best. My pick Lion Charmer stalked and was awful.
Yeah, third place finisher there was, at least morning line was 30-1.
Yeah.
Back to Oaklawn. This is going to kick off the late pick 5. 15-1 in the end on the 3, by the way. Here's our post parade. We start with the feature, Francisco Arrieta rider change.
Yeah, has had his share of chances at 1 for 15. The recent form a little dull. Does drop, though.
Seaside Boy is going to sprint for the first time in his career, start number 3.
Yeah, claimed at Churchill Downs. I just hate when I see horses claimed for 30,000, dropping in for 10. Such a negative.
And Jason Barkley claimed. Here's Demigod, 1 for 12.
Just looks like he's way too slow based on his dirt races. Trainer changed. Back to a trainer out of Oaklawn last year.
Fun and Funny has tried this condition the last couple of starts, has been 4th in both.
Yeah, I mean, hasn't run that badly in them. It just doesn't seem like he's quite good enough.
13-1 next to her. This is Hard to Park, who's 1 for 38.
I'm surprised he hasn't run in Saratoga, considering he's named Hard to Park. Tough town to park in case you haven't noticed.
Saratoga?
Oh, gosh. Downtown? February,
Yeah, it
you
can be
can't
tough.
find a spot downtown to park.
I can think of some more difficult places. Shack's Way, 8-5
Like
favorite.
You're thinking? Shack's Way's the worst to be. He's supposed to go to the lead in here and have his way in the front end as Teodoro and Cohen look for another win.
33-1 Fallen Empire.
Very big price on this horse for a Robertino Teodoro horse, huh?
I'm
sorry, looking at it wrong. It's not Teodoro. Wrong horse, sorry.
Yeah, Randy Matthews.
Apologize.
Randy Morse trains the 8, who's interesting coming in from Prairie Meadows.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to respect whether or not you respect the Prairie Meadows for him. He's got a couple of fast races, this horse, that make him a player.
Off for a long time, coming in from Canterbury, the 9.
Yeah, it's just hard to bet year-and-a-half layoff horses.
Major Chance probably does not have a major chance.
Feels like he's been incorrectly named. He's going to change it to minor.
Woberjad, Ron Moquette, his debut, he won for fun against and beat a next-out winner.
You know, I just don't know what to do with this horse. I agree with you. He doesn't get as highly rated as time form as Beyer did, but his 64 figure fits well in this field.
And here's the New York bred, 5-2 on Windy Nations at 12.
This has a bad odor to me, this horse shipping this New York bred. Mike
Off since
Maker
January
ships
10th.
right. A year layoff, and he ships a New York bred who was running in stake races. He ships him to run at 10 at Oaklawn. I mean, it's like, can I lose him fast enough? I could never bet this horse at a short price.
He's the second choice right now.
I mean, he can win. His races are fast enough to win.
No question.
But he's just got everything about him is negative. You know, all of the intangibles are negative.
And Shack's Way, that was off an 11th-month layoff when he came back and ran third in just the fourth start of his career against better company.
Yeah.
Improve a little bit off that? He's going to be tough, isn't he?
Yeah, especially if he's able to control in the front end. And guys are more aggressive there. Neither one of us wants to sit here and endorse favorites, but he's a favorite I'm not trying to beat.
Vic Stauffer with the call, start of the pick 5.
Shack's Way. 2 more now. Woberjod and Windy Nations. They're at the post. They're off. Fun and Funny and Shack's Way break well. Woberjod is close up. These 3 are quickest. Windy Nations, Major Chance, and the feature at the rail. Then Hard to Park, followed by Mr. Cougar, Fallen Empire, Lock Garmin, and a Seaside Boy. And the trailer is Demigod. Up the backstretch, Shack's Way and Woberjod are 1-2. Shack's Way a neck in front. Woberjod is second by 2 lengths to the feature at the rail. Fun and Funny between horses, and Windy Nations 3 deep. Then it's 2.5 back to Mr. Cougar and Major Chance. About 5 off the lead. They're 3 in front of Hard to Park. Lock Garmin and Fallen Empire have 9 lengths to make up, a length in front of Seaside Boy, and Demigod is desperately last, and here's Woberjod to put his head in front. Woberjod a neck in front of Shack's Way in second. The feature emerges a clear-cut third now, and he's 3 from the front. Then Windy Nations and Fun and Funny, Woberjod final furlong, and now he's a full length in front of Shack's Way in second. Still 4 back to the feature. Running on late between horses is Seaside Boy, but it's Woberjod a 16th out, and now he's 3 in front. Shack's Way is second. Seaside Boy might get third. Woberjod in front. Woberjod won by 2.5. Shack's Way was second. Seaside Boy did get third. Close for fourth. Hard to Park, Fun and Funny, or the feature.
Ron Moquette and Woberjod, his debut at Remington, dusted the competition. He beats a decent field here for the level.
I actually think Shack's Way ran his race.
Yeah.
I just think this horse flat out ran better. You look at Shack's Way, he beats the rest of the field by what, 4 or 5 lengths for finishing second. I think you take the winner out, we'd be saying, well, Shack's Way, he was logical, he went to the front, and he was just better than these horses. And, as we mentioned, this guy was the fuzzy. Louis Sella, the house horse, getting the job done. Louis Sella. So kind of cool for them. And this was a blowout winner at Remington for maiden 7,500. Well, he's better than that.
I'm not going to say it.
What?
Does Ron have his next Whitmore? I'm kidding. Non-winners a 2 claiming race. I apologize. Woberjod 2 for 2 now. And wins impressively here. Are you leaving me?
Yeah, Maggie's here.
Okay, Maggie
Good news for
Wolfendale.
you. I'm leaving and Maggie's coming on. Great news, everybody.
Show's improving. No, I had fun with you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
To kick in the new year with you. Maggie going to join me after a short timeout. We'll be back late pick 4 at Oaklawn when we continue, and we'll preview stakes action tomorrow. Say Florida Sandy here in New York, and a rematch. Lobster, my boy Tate, will go at it again on Saturday here in New York.
Start spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Nyra Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Nyra Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Nyra Bets app or visit nyrabets.com.
Spun to run. In the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, he defeated a loaded field that included multiple Grade 1 winners Omaha Beach and Improbable. His brilliant speed figures were among the fastest of any 3-year-old at a mile or more. And he hails from the legendary Danzig Sire line. Multiple graded stakes winner, millionaire, Breeders' Cup champion, Spun to run, standing at Gainesway.
Introducing Adelphi Racing Club, the horse racing syndicate offering more than just fractional ownership. Enjoy the thrill of an interactive thoroughbred ownership experience competing at the sport's highest level. Attend events where you'll interact with top trainers, industry professionals, and club members. We've cheered on winners from coast to coast at top tracks such as Santa Anita and Saratoga.
And it will be Exotic West.
Become part of a group that celebrates success together. Visit adelphiracing.com and join the club today.
The first time I ever entered the gates of Alapa, at first I was pretty nonchalant. I've seen a lot of farms, and I came here and the gates opened, and for me it was magical. It was like something I've never seen before. You know, the goal has always been to sort of try to have a vibrant, thoroughbred farm, a bucolic, unique setting, respectful of all the buildings, everything in the past. It's a bit eclectic because Mr. Sims, one of the original owners of the farm, bought a horse from Europe called Prince Palatine, who I think is the 3rd grandsire of Prince Quillo, a very prominent horse in Europe. And the horse died in a barn fire, and he said, well, no horse will ever die here in a fire again. So everything he built was stone and concrete, which today the challenge is that first in craftsmanship, availability of materials, and the expense would be impossible. So everything is here is done in stone. Our primary goal is obviously to be a great thoroughbred farm, to be the best we can be, stand the greatest stallions, raise the best horses. I believe the land gives us this opportunity. All our neighbors have been voices of the past of greatness. It's beautiful, but what are we here to see? Midnight Pursue or Take Charge Brandy, or here's a yearling by Tappet, and here's a yearling by Into Mischief, and well, it's beautiful, and you're here to see Curlin. Beautiful, and you're here to see Ghost Sapper. He's an old veteran, but a great sire, great broodmare sire. Kitten's Joy has been 8 or 9 consecutive years the leading turf sire. Another great horse. Very excited about Army Mule, undefeated horse that we own with St. Elias. They're yearlings this year. Good Magic yearlings this year. Champion son of Curlin. I view the Stallion Barn as a NFL, NHL, college, any kind of team. Constant recruitment, try to get the best athlete you can. There's a great past, there's a great present, and hopefully there's a great future.
Our program brought to you in part each and every day by Hill & Dale at Alapa. We appreciate their support. Joining me on set, going to take us the rest of the way, Maggie Wolfendale. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I hear you had a very nice trip over across the pond.
And we were just talking off air. It was a few minutes from where you wound up going. We weren't there on the same day, but I can't believe that.
I know. It's a small world, Greg.
Yeah.
It
We'll have
really
to meet for
is.
tea next time.
No, absolutely. In a little English pub, that's for sure. I hope the weather was a little bit better for you.
I did not see the sun for about the entire time I was there.
Ditto.
But it was warmer there than it is here when I got back to New York.
Yeah, it has not been pleasant here, as the crisp white behind us would be evidenced as. But they do have the track looking as though it's in good shape, and we'll be racing hopefully tomorrow.
All right, we look forward to it. We're going to preview that Say Florida Sandy, as we talked about, coming up in just a little bit, that rematch with Lobster, excuse me, and my boy Tate. Back at Tampa, Waberjod for Ron Moquette.
You mean that was Oaklawn. 7 Tampa. This was the 5-horse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Marv's
That's
Magic
okay.
wins.
Marv's
$8.80 for the win.
Yeah, Anthony Granite gets the win here. A logical type of horse after those 2 second-place efforts in the same condition, pulling through, breaking through, I should say. But you were excited about Waberjod. How do you say it? Waberjod?
I believe it's Waberjod, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old, very lightly raced, has now gone 2 for 2 in his career. This son of Flatter.
He ran a decent figure in that debut, even though it was at Remington. It was for 7,500 maiden claiming, but he more than backs it up with this performance.
Yeah, he does. A determined effort once again off of a layoff. Obviously a horse that has to get over some issues, but when he's in the right spots, he delivers. I wonder where Ron Moquette watched this. Was he on track for this one, or was he watching it from his backyard? He does have that pretty cool house that backs up, I think, at like the turn, the clubhouse turn.
He's got the best place in Hot Springs.
He usually comes over for the last race, so I'm sure he probably watched it from his sofa.
And is that just a misprint? This horse was able to run with not for the tag? Protected?
Is that because he came back off the layoff? Oh, yes, they had that rule at Oaklawn. I think it's not like the 6-month rule that we have here. It's a shorter period of time, but if you come back and raise your horse in claiming price, you can waiver it for the first start back.
Wonder what that gator's name is.
What?
We just saw the gator there at Tampa lurking.
God.
There he is.
Do not sign me up for that.
I think he's called Wolfendale.
Oh, lovely.
5.5 furlongs. 10 maiden claimer coming up. Here, Wolfendale.
Run Happy is the #1 second prop sire by stakes winners, graded stakes winners, and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future Pool 1 favorite. A leading dirt sire, and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us. Those watching on FS2, Bally Sports Southern California and San Diego. Live action from Oaklawn and from Tampa. And we're back to work tomorrow at Aqueduct. Say Florida Sandy is the feature on that Saturday card. Say Florida Sandy, he showed his precocity from the very outset, winning his debut and winning a stake in just his 4th career start. The best, though, was yet to come for this New York-bred son of Personal Flag, who would go on to win 31 more times over the next 7 seasons.
A star on the New York circuit for nearly his entire 8-year campaign, Say Florida Sandy was a 2-time New York Horse of the Year, the Empire State's 3-time champion sprinter, and a multiple graded stakes winner. The son of Personal Flag banked over $2 million and won 19 stakes from 98 starts. Say Florida Sandy won the 2001 True North Handicap, the 2001 Bold Ruler Handicap, and the Gravesend Handicap in 1998 and 2000.
Say Florida Sandy wins the Gravesend Handicap.
Say Florida Sandy retired in 2003 with 33 wins. He stood 10 seasons at stud in New York prior to his retirement to old friends in 2014 and died in 2018 at age 24. Venerable New York breds My Boy Tate, Honor Up, Arthur's Hope, and Our Last Buck have won this race.
They really don't make them like this anymore. Say Florida Sandy, 98 career starts, 33 wins, and over $2 million in career earnings.
And doing it at such a high level, Greg. He was a blue-collar horse, you know, as far kind of as pedigree, obviously by Personal Flag, who was a good runner in himself. But Say Florida Sandy, he just represents all that is good often with these New York breds. They show up, they bring their lunch pail to work, and we often see these rivalries kind of match up as we're going to see tomorrow here in this rendition.
And My Boy Tate trying to do his best impression of Say Florida Sandy, not quite the career. He said making his 30th career start, which that's quite a bit in today's day and age. 8-year-old who's an 11-time winner. He was the favorite over Lobster last time out, but it was Lobster who would get that win for Gary Siaka in that New York Stallion Series Thunder Rumble.
Yeah, Lobster pulling off the big upset, ridden to victory this day by Javier Castellano off the considerable layoff. And this is by far Lobster's best performance we've seen to date, holding off all challengers, including his older brother in Chowda, but just so tenacious here, coming back over My Boy Tate to gain the victory. My Boy Tate, he is a serious rival, though, and one that, as we heard in the feature, has won this race in the past.
So, look, My Boy Tate ran a big race, and he's very consistent. We mentioned the 11 wins. He's got an impressive resume. Lobs has never come close to running this kind of race before. Is he just a different horse now off this layoff? Can we see this again from him?
That's what you have to wonder, Greg. And is he a horse that, does he get to control? Was it a matter of him being that much more tenacious on the front end? I don't know, because there's some other horses with serious speed in here. A complete wild card in the one-horse Alpha Chiro. And in Battle Station isn't that slow either. So we'll see. Is Lobster the goods?
It'll be fun to see the rematch. We love to have rivalries in this game. This little mini rivalry in this New York bred division is taking place. We'll get to see these two go at it one more time. 1-2 in that Thunder Rumble. That is coming up tomorrow. Weather should be a lot less snowy.
Cold, but less snowy.
So we look forward to that as we get back to action in New York tomorrow. Back at Tampa Bay, 8th race coming up next. And a $10,000 maiden claiming sprint, 5.5 furlongs. Carrots, or I think most would prefer the latter here.
Unless you're a horse.
That's true.
Yeah, so maybe aptly named.
2-1 on a horse who's done not a whole lot of running in 5 career starts.
He did have some trouble, though. You know, kind of broke well, and then in his last start, which was back at Gulfstream Park in October for former trainer Ralph Nix, well, it's actually one of 2 horses that we'll see, at least with me being on with you here at Tampa, going to the Kathleen O'Connell barn. Never in a comfortable position, going around the turn, kind of checked the whole way out of there as well, and doing a lot of the running on the front end. So a horse that from that rail position with Hector Diaz aboard, I hope is confidently handled. The winner came back, who was favored that day, to win with a 70 buyer. The fourth place finisher also came back to win with a 65. So those kind of numbers, would make an overwhelming favorite in this field here. So I do think Carrots or Carrots, if he is able to perform well off the layoff, is the horse to beat.
Meanwhile, at 5, patiently looking on there, the Nantucketer has had 2 starts and 2/3 against 8. Well, basically the same condition here. So third time, maybe the charm. We'll see 7-2.
Yeah, Nantucketer, he was interfered kind of with, but it was more him being intimidated. He looks like a very small horse, Greg.
Here's the one. So Carrots or Carrots that we were talking about, start number 6 coming up, New Barn.
Yeah, you're on the best horse here, Hector Diaz. Hopefully he just goes from the inside post position. I think he has faced better, at least in his last, and really had some trouble in that last effort over at Gulfstream Park for the 12-5, who you can arguably, he was facing better horses too.
Next door, you have Unique Path. He was 2-5 last time out and was a distant third.
He was bad, Greg. He's not one that I would want to take back at a short price. You are getting 5-1 currently here, but he was in position and he just really flattened out in the lane.
Royal Biz 0-16.
Yeah, he faced Nantucketer in his last start. He's faced many of these and has been unable to get anywhere close to them.
This one intriguing with that lone dirt start at Fort Erie against Maiden Special?
Absolutely. He broke on top, Greg, and then the rider strangled him back off what was a slow pace. So that horse came back to win, too, with the 63. This horse is very interesting. I agree.
Here's the one we were talking about earlier, Nantucketer, start number 3.
He never switched leads in that last race, just intimidated down the lane. Yes, he was taken up, but I don't think it cost him a position. Placing, I should say.
Neptune's Revenge. He's 18-1, 5-year-old.
He pressed the pace in between, checked, kind of leaving the turn, and did come back on again to get fourth, but he's a bit of an in-and-outer.
Huge price. Well, actually 9-1. I should say he was 20-1 morning line. Son of Exaggerator, start number 2.
Bit of a rider improvement. I do think he got away slowly, which hurt his chances. Hopefully a cleaner break this time.
And drops in class a little bit, too. Here's Arula, off in September of last year.
Returns as a gelding and gets Lasix for Donald Hunt, who does not have great numbers off long layoffs.
Was running against 50 maiden claiming, though, first couple of starts of his career. And then the 9, Jericho's Battle on the outside, speed, but coming out of a mile turf race.
Does that translate to sprinting here on the dirt? He was close in some of his dirt sprints, but he's going to have to run a race that he has not yet in his 5 career starts thus far.
4 minutes to post here in the 8th at Tampa Bay. Let's check in with Jonathan.
Yeah, guys. Hi, Mag. I'm going to check out the 8 a little bit here. Orula. This horse is getting Lasix for the first time. Hasn't run since 2020. But the fact they bring the horse back, he has shown some talent where he showed a little bit of early speed. Now, he hasn't run a race in his past that can win this one, but he has shown some ability. And the fact they've kind of stuck with this horse this long to bring back to this level makes you think that there might be a little something there. I like the outside draw at Tampa Bay. Historically, you don't want to be down on the inside. And like I mentioned, this horse seems to have a little bit of talent with some early pace figures that you saw early in the career. And hopefully off of a very, very long layoff, this horse can be ready off the break.
Okay, this one is a little bit sneaky here, this 8 at 6-1.
He might be. He gets the complete makeover. You know, I'm a fan of a new gelding coming back here. It is a considerable layoff, though. And it's kind of a, I don't want to say a lateral trainer change, but as I said, Donald Hunt, 180-day plus layoff over the past 5 years. He's only 2 for 19. Yes, it is a somewhat small sample, but still, he does look good out there on the racetrack. I will say that. I do like what I'm seeing from him on the track. He does return wearing those front wraps only for this return to the races. I get why there's some intrigue. He is 6-1, so it's not a terrible price and faced better in those races. I thought the favorite was much the horse to beat because of his potential early speed. But I agree with you. I think the most intriguing horse is number 4, No Easy Road, by a lot, getting back to the dirt after that Fort Erie debut.
That was back in September. Then they tried Synthetic at Woodbine. and was forward again in that race and then dropped out of it. 8-1 right now, no easy road. So intriguing race. There's a few you can make a case for, but you side with the public in terms of who the horse to beat is.
Absolutely. Yes, he has a couple bad races looking at you, but his dirt sprints, they are solid enough. And like I said, although it was a 12-5 claimer, still probably facing better horses given what these horses came back and run in their subsequent starts. And he had trouble. He was part of a 4-horse battle on the front end, down on the rail, never in a comfortable spot. I don't think the rider really wanted to be there either. And yes, he was beaten nearly 12 lengths in that race. But again, with the trouble, the horse that I don't necessarily want any part of, but you are getting 6-1 is Unique Path. Watch, he'll probably jump up and run really well here. But because his 2 races on the dirt prior to that turf try at Gulfstream and at Parks make him a legitimate player here. So is it, people jumping off, is he going to show up this time?
And this will be the lowest level he's ever run at yet. Talking about the 2, he's 5-1, as mentioned. There he is. But that does not inspire a lot of confidence, that last effort, in a field that he should have had his way with a 2-5 and a very distant third.
Well, the horse that you mentioned kind of taking some money is Capavada, I should say. Gets Angel Moreno aboard, and last time broke slow and then kind of pinched back to boot at the start, then ran up going around the turn. And it's always hard when you're doing your fastest running around the turn, trying to make up those lengths, especially in your first start. So he, understandably tired a bit. So if he breaks a bit better today, I do think this Son of Exaggerator could make some noise here, because I do think in the context of that last race, ran well.
He's 10-1, and I'm just interested to see. Usually, you would think coming out of a longer race too, it's going to dull that speed. But does the 9? He's very quick. Is he going to pressure this 1 early on?
Yeah, that's a problem, and that is what could work out well for these prices that we've mentioned here, Greg. I do think Jericho's Battle, he has to be used because he really. He's kind of the all-or-nothing horse. He's always losing ground at the latter stages of his races, but how is he going to make up ground if he's not on the front end? So I think that he's the kind of one way to go. And again, we're going to see Carrots and Carrots in an uncomfortable position down on the rail.
So getting set for post time here in this 8th at Tampa coming up. It's still Carrots or Carrots from the rail, the 2-1 favorite. We have Oaklawn's pick 4 coming up next, 8 minutes away from that 6th race in
I think that
6
race
furlong
is
sprint.
Pretty interesting too. The 7th, on the 6th race. Sorry. I think that one's interesting. It might give us a little bit of intrigue. There's a horse coming out of that race, or in that race, that horses in the 8th race are coming out of too. And then just some horses that currently we see the 8 taking a lot of money. Warriors Battle. Perfect trip last time, much the best. Does she run back to that, or are they just, piling it on a Brad Cox runner?
Yeah, and not much of a figure, too. For that field, that level, yes.
Right.
But nothing to say the horse should be down to 2-1.
Except
the presence of the connections.
And what about our good friend Tom Amos's Guajira? I think Travis Stone said it, Washira. Off the claim, was coming off of a considerable layoff. Yes, figures-wise, does not match up that well with some of the other foes in here. Gets Lasix, though, and she was the beaten favorite last time out off of that layoff from May to November. Won that race was the other Wesley Ward horse that went off to 6-1.
Who's won 3 in a row, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so she broke slow that day, went up into the turn, going 4 wide, had to kind of reroute at the 16th pole, switch back out, and just came up tired. Why can't she improve off of that effort?
Yeah, she's a major player. I thought it was Guajira. We'll see what Vic goes with. Gormley, filly. Tom Amos off the claim. He is dangerous with that maneuver, we know. 22%. So that's...
He's actually 26% in dirt sprints alone.
Okay.
So even more reason to like. And the horse coming from California on the rail at Oaklawn for the 6th race, a Paycheck Smile, gets Lasix, a market improvement with blinkers on out at Del Mar last time, does go to a new barn, but Renee Amascua having a good meet thus far at Oaklawn. I think that horse is pretty interesting, too.
Post parade there from Oaklawn, right-hand side of your screen. The 2 just went by. Here is that Tom Amoss off the claim filly we just talked about, Guajira. So Lasix for the first start in the Amoss barn.
She has to break better. I like the fact that she's on her toes, Greg.
First on dirt for Essential Bella, the 4.
Now, Emshawish has produced some dirt runners, but the family on the bottom side, mostly turf.
Tone it up, the 5 at 14-1.
That broke her maiden quite handily on the slop, though. Her fast dirt races have not been as good.
It's been only synthetic from Mumblebee in 2 starts so far.
Now, this is a daughter of Street Sense with dirt on the bottom side as well, and comes out of a good effort, albeit going long on the synthetic.
And Bullet Gate Drill, too.
Yep.
3 furlong move coming into this. Curbs and Cones just went by.
I am a little dubious of her, though does get Lasix for Larry Jones here.
Warriors battle the Brad Cox filly.
She's going to have to run faster than she did in that blowout victory, breaking her maiden, but maybe she does here second off the bench.
And Stanley Market on the outside comes in off a win at Churchill for 30 maiden claiming new barn now.
Yeah, she ran fine, breaking her maiden first time on the dirt. Again, one that will have to get a bit faster. And Randy Morris, he just seems to kind of underperform just slightly with his runners at Oaklawn.
All right,
and
so
off the claim.
We'll get you back to Hot Springs for that 6th. Kicks off that pick 4 when we're done here at Tampa Bay. 8th from Tampa, 5.5 on the main track, 10,000 maiden claiming race. And favoritism moves to the 5 in here, Nantucketer.
Greg, is it me or has Tampa inherited the same type of drag that their other Florida track has?
Yes, indeed. Been a little bit behind today.
Yeah, we
to
are
be generous.
And it's we are 4 minutes away from the 6th race at Oaklawn. As you're saying, favoritism, as you just mentioned, going to the 5 now, Nantucketer. People are going to see that taken up late. Yeah, he was taken up. I don't think he was ever finishing better than 3rd, and it wasn't any fault of any of the 2 other horses. If anything, he was kind of drifting in and out because he was intimidated. So we'll see. Like we said, I think the interesting horses are the 4, 7, and 8.
Yeah, the public has made a 6-year-old trying to break his maiden for 10 maiden claiming the favorite.
Yeah, good luck with that. I should probably put him in the winner's circle.
Jason Beam with the call. Here's the 8th from Tampa.
Three more left to load. No Easy Road, Arula, and Jericho's Battle. And we'll be all set for a start here at today's 8th late double. No Easy Road, Jericho's Battle, the last 2. Jericho's Battle, Wilmer Garcia to the outside draw, just about set to roll. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Came away in a pretty good line. Arula in the pink cap toward the outside. No Easy Road showing good speed. Those 2. Quickest in the early going is Neptune's Revenge, and down toward the inside, Carrots Are Carrots, part of the early mix as well as 4 of them stack up on the front end. Jericho's Battle up from the outside is away 5th, just a length and a half off the leaders up front. Then comes Nantucketer. Royal Biz, Kafavada tries to move with them on the outside. It's 2 more back to Unique Path, who's at the back. The 9 of them only covered by about 8 lengths as they go into that turn. Cutting the corner, Carrots Are Carrots. No Easy Road going right with that one. As Arula moves up outside of Neptune's Revenge, they're still pretty much 4 across the track. Just to their outside, Jericho's Battle. Nantucketer awaits room. Just in behind Horses, is only a length and a half behind after a 22-1 opening quarter mile. Wide open here as they come to the top of the stretch. No easy road. Neptune's Revenge swinging into action now. Nantucketer. Carrots are Carrots still plugging away down toward the inside as 5 of them across the track as they come to the 8th pole. Momentum on the outside for Nantucketer. Unique Path has made good progress. Down toward the inside, Neptune's Revenge. Royal Biz trying to run from out of the pack, but Nantucketer goes clear at the 16th pole. It's Nantucketer and Jose Bautista in front. Unique Path is second. Nantucketer goes on to win it here 2-1. Unique Path was second. Third looked like it was Neptune's Revenge holding off Royal Biz. Long way back to Carrots or Carrots for your super high 5.
Nantucketer.
I put him right in the winner's circle, Greg.
Yep.
I call it. I knew I was. But completely got the right trip and loaded for bear at the quarter pole.
We're back at Oaklawn. Larry Jones, he's got curbs and cones in here. For more, let's go to Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, Larry's slowly but surely slowing things down in his stable. He's got just a handful of horses, kind of a boutique stable here at Oaklawn Park, and he just came up by us, and he's bundled up for the cold. The knees are bad on him, and these guys, he's one of the throwback trainers, a Wayne Lucas, a Nick Zito, and this game has changed so much with the claiming and everything else. He puts a lot of miles in, hauling his horses around everywhere. This filly, he's running right here, Cones and Curbs. She's a filly that she broke her maiden second time out by 11 lengths. She's for sale today. More than likely, she's going to get sold at 5-2 favorite right now, guys.
All right, Gary, thank you. We're set here for the 6 from Oaklawn. Starts the pick 4. Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
And Stanley Market. They're at the post. They're off. Essential Bella wins the break, goes to the front from Warriors Battle and Stanley Market. Guajira's a close 4th. Curbs and Cones and a Paycheck Smile are next. Then comes Mumblebee and Tone It Up, and the trailer is verklempt. It is Essential Bella up the backstretch, a neck in front of Warriors Battle in the second. Then just a tight length 2. Stanley Market 3 deep in third. Curbs and Cones is in the orange, 4th between horses and on the move within 2 of the lead. Guajira's joined and passed by a Paycheck Smile, who has 4 lengths to make up. Then it's 5 back to Mumblebee, 2 more to Tone It Up. Verklempt is still the trailer, and the leader is still Essential Bella, but Warriors Battle is right alongside, and these 2 are matching strides. Warriors Battle outside, Essential Bella at the rail. 2 lengths now further back to Curbs and Cones, with every chance from there. A Paycheck Smile now 4th. Warriors Battle a short lead. Essential Bella battles on bravely at the rail. Warriors Battle drifts out just a bit, a half length in front of Essential Bella. Then comes between horses, Curbs and Cones, but it's Warriors Battle, who will be the 3rd 3-time winner at the meet. Warriors Battle in front. Warriors Battle won by 3 1/4. Curbs and Cones was 2nd, Essential Bella 3rd. A Paycheck Smile finished 4th.
Warriors Battle, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, 10 strike.
Take a shot. No, it is a snow day after all, Greg. Warriors Battle, I think it's safe to say that she did improve with that blowout victory last time out on December 5th at Oaklawn. And I think what Vic Stauffer meant to say is she's the second time winner at the meet. And Warriors Battle getting the win for Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, just always had her in perfect striking range. Curbs and Cones, the Larry Jones horse we're talking about, settles for 2nd.
8-7-4 finish. Yeah, Larry Jones started his training career over 42.
No way.
Went on to do a lot better.
I would say.
Over $55 million in career earnings as he's kind of winding things down.
Campaign Horse of the Year, Haverty Grace, Hard Spun, Ill-fated 8 Bells.
Yeah, a lot of great fillies he's had over the years.
Really good. Proud Spell, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Warriors Battle back-to-back for Brad Cox with Florent Giroux while the prices when we return, and getting closer and closer to our feature coming up, and that half-sister to Essential Quality famed for Brad Cox with Florent Giroux. Those connections will try and win again in the feature still to come.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. and added a Grade 1 with turf credentials in the Maker's Mark Mile. A winner in Grade 1 placed at 2, multiple graded stakes victor at 3, and Grade 1 winner again at 4. This son of Warfront has proven his class at every level. At Keeneland November, his first mares and foals sold up to $310,000. War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Need help in finalizing your picks for the next race? Check out the Track Master selections provided by Equibase on every U.S. thoroughbred and harness track on Nyra Bets. Use these selections to get quick expert advice from professionals in the business. Check out the thumbs up graphic next to the pick and the wager pad and scroll down for more details on the horse. Track Master selections available on Nyra Bets and the Nyra Bets app.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us on this Friday afternoon program brought to you in part by the champion sprinter. Ron Happy never lost in his career while sprinting. Did it all while racing medication-free. Back at Tampa, Nantucketer. For Robert Raymond, 6-year-old son of Poseidon's Warrior, breaks his maiden in his third career start.
Greg, like I said before, it's good for him, the Florida bred. As I said before, I didn't like, still running on his wrong left lead there, but he got the right trip. When we thought 2 horses would go to the lead, well, we saw 4 or 5 of them battling up front, and he was just locked and loaded with Jose Bautista aboard. You could tell at the quarter pole, he was just tanking, and all he had to do was find daylight, and that he did, and pulled away.
Meanwhile, back at Oaklawn, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, 10 Strike Titletown Racing, team up with this 3-year-old filly who's won back-to-back starts here at the meet.
Yeah, she has an affinity for the Oaklawn surface, but is this a prelude of things to come? As you mentioned, the little sister, Essential Quality, these connections, obviously Godolphin owned and bred, famed, coming up a bit later, but good day so far for the Cox barn.
Yeah. That'll be in the 8th. Right now it's race 7, 6 furlongs, maiden special weight, and some intriguing pedigrees in this one, which we'll talk more about in a moment, including Tap for Me out of Groupie Doll, a 2-time Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint winner, who's 4-5 right now after being second in the debut. Quick timeout. We'll be back right after this.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Solomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
Aqueduct is the only racetrack within the confines of the 5 boroughs of New York City and faced intense competition from several other tracks located in the vicinity. True to its nature, the racetrack not only survived, but thrived. Aqueduct underwent an extensive 3-year overhaul and reopened on September 15, 1959, to much fanfare, as it was one of the most modern facilities of its kind. In 1960, Aqueduct presented its first Wood Memorial. The race is New York's premier prep race for the Triple Crown and remains one of the track's signature events, along with the Cigar Mile Handicap and Remsen Stakes. Aqueduct was the first and only track to have a triple dead heat win in a stakes race when Brownie, Bousset, and Wait a Bit hit the wire in tandem. In 1965, it was the site of the largest crowd ever to witness a thoroughbred race at that time in the Empire State, when more than 73,000 packed the stands to see Gunbow in the Metropolitan Mile. The legendary Cigar began his famous 16-race win streak at Aqueduct. He scored impressively in the 1994 Nyra Mile as part of that win streak. The race was named in Cigar's honor after he retired in 1997. The last racetrack Secretariat placed his hooves upon was Aqueduct. He was retired there before commencing his stud career at Claiborne Farm. Aqueduct was the second track to host the Breeders' Cup in 1985 and was one of the first sporting venues where Pope John Paul II held Mass in 1995.
So much history here at Aqueduct, and you know, each of these tracks on the circuit, they have something special. Everyone loves Saratoga, obviously. Belmont Stakes at Belmont Park is so special, but something about walking off the A train, seeing that big mural, it's comforting coming to Aqueduct.
And those murals, just added 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I really do think it adds some mystique to this place. It gives it the character because it is, as that piece highlighted, the only track within the confines of New York City, of the 5 boroughs. And yeah, that big mural, and we have the Ruffian one when you walk in to the turf and field entrance. And where we're sitting, Greg, in Equestrius, it was the place to be. As you know, it was the high price ticket sales were here, and there's just, think about the people that have graced, you know, this dining room.
Yeah. If you're, you know, the everyday horse players that are in this game and follow it on a daily basis, that's us, by the way.
Can you
Sort of see us. They love coming out here.
They do. You get your characters here at the Big A, and as we were mentioning, you know, so much history here. The second Breeders' Cup was held here ever, and yeah, this is kind of where I started, where I honed my scales back in 2010 into 2011, the winter meet here. So I have a lot of history here at Aqueduct. Well, relatively speaking. But Belmont Park is truly a special place too, and I feel like Belmont Park is kind of like the home base for a lot of people.
Yeah, it feels like it. But yeah, every track, it has its own unique kind of feel. That's what makes this New York circuit so special. There we are. And again, the snow. We're going to be back to action tomorrow. Save Florida Sandy, that feature on the Saturday card, and we'll have that rematch as we talked about between Lobster and my boy Tate. We got more action coming up, though, including the feature at Oaklawn, and we got that guy to deal with from Tampa. Hopefully no one has to deal with him.
No gator. Just lobster.
9th at Tampa when we return. Going to close out their card, sprinting on the turf. We'll be back.
This is the horse.
He is just too good.
This is the horse who became only the second champion 2-year-old to win the Travers in 3 decades. This is the horse who is the only Breeders' Cup juvenile hero ever to lift the Belmont Stakes. History-making brilliance. That's his essential quality. Essential quality. This is the horse. Just imagine.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. AmericasBestRacing.net is a sport for you.
I'm very bullish on it.
Tom's Dayta's got a 4-length lead at the 16th pole. Tom's Dayta has conquered the Clark.
Your best horses of the last 10 or 15 years are not consistently as fast as this horse.
It's total domination for Tom's Dayta.
He's a beautifully balanced horse and a really good mover, and he's just full of class.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Nyra Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Nyra Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Nyra Bets app or visit nyrabets.com.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. We have the nightcap coming up at Tampa Bay Downs. Going to sprint 5 furlongs on the turf. As we take a look at the field current odds, Luscious, the 6 at 3-1, current favorite.
Yeah, I thought that made sense. I mean, getting back to turf sprints, had run against some tougher competition when running well, breaking her maiden at Arlington Park.
Here's the one. Sydney Sue, 1 for 23.
Yeah, it took her 20 tries to break her maiden, and it was over a good course going the 6 at Laurel.
Working on being single? Is that right?
I hope that's not you.
Not me.
Or me? No, that's neither one of us.
6-1 on money and honey. Blinkers coming off.
Yeah, blinkers coming off. They've experimented with this before, though did win without the blinkers on going back to last year in March at Tampa.
I will be if you attribute that to me. I'm going to be single by the time I get home. Sarah Mia, 4-1. She's watching the show. 7-1 on Sarah Mia.
Hi, Laura. Sarah Mia is turning back in distance. Did run well, albeit over the synthetic, in a sprint distance before.
Speed with the favorite Luscious here, 3-1.
Yeah, Luscious does have that early speed, and like I said, was running against, arguably better company when she broke her maiden out at Arlington Park. She makes sense to me.
Emperor Song, 29-1, does have a win on the turf.
Yeah, it's pretty slow, though, and a maiden 12-5. I'll pass.
I'm incommunicado for Derek Ryan.
Yeah, this is a horse that is a New York bred, coming off a considerable layoff. Looks a little hot there on the track. Nothing I like to see when coming back off those long, extended layoffs.
Speed with the 9 here and blinkers coming off. Our Love on the run.
Yes, going out for Dangerous Connections, and first time the blinkers come off here, Greg. But wouldn't you say that the better races have come on the dirt rather than the turf?
Yeah, no question. But it's shown some ability.
Yeah.
And then Sassy Cat outside the 10 at 9-1.
Yeah, did beat Emperor Song last time they met, which was back in July. So having to deal with the layoff, though, does make her first start for trainer Cody Axemaker, who is having a very productive Tampa meet.
3 minutes to post. Jonathan, this race closes out the card at Tampa. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, when it comes to turf sprints, especially in South Florida and in Tampa, Gulfstream as well, you get those 5 furlong variations. It's so important to have speed. Sure, there's lots of races where they can go really fast and it could set up for a closer, but the races are so short, those rides have to be perfectly timed going the flat 5. So I always defer to speed. For me, I felt like it was the 5 and the 6 that made the most sense from a speed standpoint. The 5T Waltz, a little bit concerned. The horse won for 16 first time out, but did it well. Got a nice speed figure and ran fast early, so I'm just hoping that they've kind of figured out exactly how T Waltz wants to be ridden and how they want to approach this race, being forward and being aggressive. And then the 6, Luscious, is another one who hasn't run particularly fast on the turf, but does have that turf win at Arlington Park going the flat 5 furlongs. Showed a ton of speed in the last 2 starts on the dirt, but couldn't see it all the way out. It feels like this horse will appreciate getting back to the grass, and that will just help a little bit, this mare Luscious get across the wire. So those are the 2 for me, the 5 and the 6. I usually would go with the higher price, but I actually am going to lean towards the 6 here, Luscious, just because this horse has a lot more experience, and I love the pace figures of the last 2 races on dirt.
Yeah, and there is the 6, Luscious, who is the 3-1 favorite. You do have to like that win against Straight Maiden Company on the grass at Arlington, but there's other speed in here. It's going to make life difficult for her, isn't there?
I think you're right, Greg, though she might be the fastest of the bunch in here, just kind of looking at those Timeform U.S. pace figures. It would appear that she's the fastest. And, you know, as Jonathan was saying, it does. It feels as though this race, as the board indicates, it's between the 5 and the 6, both tepid choices at 7-2. And just for me, watching these horses on track, I much preferred the appearance that Luscious made on track. But on the flip side, Luscious, you could say, is a little bit more exposed, but she only has 4 turf starts, and 2 of them make her kind of the strongest player in this field. Whereas, yes, T. Waltz, she only has 3 career starts, only 2 of which on the turf, going those flat 5/8 on the turf. And this is the other, you know, one that we see switching here from Ralph next to Kathleen O'Connell, the one in the former race. Did not run particularly well, though was embroiled in that pace battle. And first off, the trainer change on the turf off of these 6-month plus layoffs is only 1 for 11. Though 4 next time out winners coming out of that April 22nd race, they all have been a little bit on the cheaper, slower side as far as their performances.
Meanwhile, so if it's pace does set up in here, and you know the 9 has some quickness too, and maybe the 6 is just the quickest of the quick. But who do you think has the ability maybe to pick up pieces better than anyone? I look to maybe someone like the 3 getting back to turf.
I thought so, but she doesn't like to pass horses necessarily. You know, it's kind of, she feels like one that where she's placed, she's going to be, and she feels more than welcome to let horses go by her, because her lone win did come when she set the pace. Now, it was pretty quick, and maybe you're right. We'll see what she does with the blinkers coming off, because weirdly, sometimes when you take blinkers off, horses will show more speed. So does she sit kind of that stalking trip, because they see the doors opening, they see the horses leaving, so they get out of the gate a little bit quicker. So we'll see. I thought she was interesting. As you said, her turf races do make her a legitimate player here, and she is 5-1.
Meanwhile, back at Oaklawn, 7th race, this maiden special weight 6 furlong sprint. And we talked to you about a filly out of the great Groupie Doll.
Oh,
multi-millionaire,
awesome.
2-time Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint winner, Tap for Me.
Groupie Doll, I remember when she came here for the 2012 Cigar Mile, just 3 weeks after her Breeders' Cup win, her first Breeders' Cup win, and she just got nosed by Stay Thirsty. I feel like there's a mural on the wall here of that performance. I think when you come in to the main entrance of Aqueduct here, and I remember it was my first time meeting Buff Bradley, my birthday brother. We have the same birthday, and such an awesome guy. We actually shared a barn with him down at the fairgrounds. Love Buff. He's now retired from training, but Groupie Doll herself, and she took her show on the road. She just did it all. She faced the boys. Yes, she didn't beat them, but she ran really well on many occasions. And to win back-to-back Breeders' Cup Filly Mare sprints, just incredible. And Rajiv Mirage, her regular pilot.
2.6 mil in earnings and a multiple winner. The Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. What a career she had. So we will see. Tap for Me, first of all, the first couple of foals out of Groupie Doll, combined 2 for 17 lifetime.
Yeah, it's not the kind of record you want. And I believe all of which by Tap It, too. She got away slowly. She launched that 4-wide bid around the turn. She gained while drifting it. She was just ultimately green, coming, making that long-awaited debut as a late 3-year-old. Now she's a 4-year-old. The third-place winner did come back to win with a 68, but she improved her figure. So it's kind of interesting, though. Steve Asmussen's opting to turn her back a bit in distance, which I get. Obviously, she's by Groupie Doll, but given that first performance, it almost seemed as though she wanted to run further than the 7 furlongs. So we'll see how she performs coming back here off a bit of a freshening going the 6.
See if we're going to look at it. Right-hand side of your screen's the post braid from Oaklawn. As we take a look at the one here, Tasha, who's first-time strutter on the rail.
It's very early in the year, and this horse isn't even 3 yet. She, like this horse, Beguine, is still technically a 2-year-old, though Beguine, she's got a nice pedigree. By Gun Runner, a half-sister to Favorable Outcome, who won his first start, also Bellementary, a stakes winner. It's a win-early pedigree.
Church Service 0 for 10 to this point.
Didn't run badly, coming off a bit of a layoff, kind of belated run.
Tough to make a case for the 4, Lady Commander.
Very tough to make a case coming out of that same race as Church Service, who I mentioned kind of made that belated run where the race was dominated towards the front.
Here's the filly out of Groupie Doll. Tap for Me, the 5.
She looks great. She does look actually more like a sprinter now that I'm looking at her on the screen. Nice developed hind end to her.
First-time starter for Larry Jones, Quality Road filly, Wings of an Angel.
A little bit of turf as far as a dam, but half to Jessica Crumpneck, who's a stakes-winning dirt sprinter.
And we'll bow out of that post parade because we're set to go here at Tampa. Their finale on this Friday card. 5 furlongs on the turf. Non-winners the 2 lifetime. Jason Beam with the call.
Holding at 5-2. Sarah Mia moving forward as well. Just waiting on T-Waltz and Sassy Cat will be all set for a start. Close out day number 23 of the season. Sassy Cat, T-Waltz. Sassy Cat and Isaac Castillo to the outside, just about set to roll. Sassy Cat going in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Our Love on the Run, Sassy Cat, the 2 outside runners quickest in the early going, down toward the inside, working on being single, driving up to challenge them on the front end. Money and Honey away in the 4th spot. T-Waltz is 5th, about 3.5 lengths adrift. Then comes Luscious Incommunicado. They're 6th and 7th. Sarah Mia with 2 beat early on. Those are Emperor's Song and Sydney Sue at the back. They head toward the far turn, working on being single inside of Our Love on the Run. Sassy Cat out 3 deep as they go into that turn. Not handling the turn all that well, it looks like, is Our Love on the Run, who gets out a little bit and leaves, working on being single in front, 1.5 lengths. Our Love on the Run trying to get back on track now from 2nd. Money and Honey coming through inside of Sassy Cat to take over 3rd. Luscious, then comes T-Waltz, working on being single, floats wide into the turn. Money and Honey trying to come through down toward the inside. Trying to run on Luscious and T-Waltz as well. Final furlong left to go. Working on being single. Money and Honey trying to come through. Down the outside running on is Luscious. Sarah Mia is getting into the bit as well. Working on being single down the outside. Sarah Mia is really starting to roll on the outside. Sarah Mia going on. Sarah Mia gets up to win it. 2nd was Money and Honey. Multiple horses in the photo there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Cutting back in distance, Sarah Mia, English Channel filly with a win.
How many English Channels do you see as turf sprinters?
Not
and
many.
how many times does this happen? Yeah, she only has 1 turf sprint, legitimate turf sprint on her PPs. It was in this condition. She finished 4th, but I don't know. There were some horses kind of drifting, getting out there. Maybe she just got the most well-timed ride and trip. And I just can never figure out Tampa, to be quite honest.
Wow. Tough one to have there.
Yeah.
As we are back at Oaklawn, and there again, Tap for Me out of Groupie Doll. We'll see. We mentioned the first 2 foals out of Groupie Doll. Nothing to write home about record-wise, but this one showed a lot of promise early on.
She did. I don't know. We'll check in with Gary and see what he thinks about her. Seems to have a very quiet warm-up here, which isn't untypical of these Steve Asmussen horses. I'm curious to see what Gary thinks about her because he sees her in person.
Look, Maggie, she looks great out there on the racetrack. She did have a quiet warm-up, but she was spirited jogging off. And the thing I worry about is probably the same thing as you. She made her first start going 7 furlongs, and she's kind of an in-betweener. We don't race over 6 furlongs here. It's either 6 furlongs or a mile. So they didn't really have a choice coming off of that first start. She was green at the start of that race, slow away from there. She drifted wide coming off the turn. She was wide all the way. But this track, I will say, this track is favoring come from behind her today. Horses that are mid-pack, not from way out of the clouds, but she looked great out on the racetrack. But the horse that's taken all the action right now, the Larry Jones trained Beguine, the 2, she's all the way down the 9-2 off of the 6-1 morning line. She did take some late action. She down to 4-1 now as I speak. And look, she's got some great workouts here at Oaklawn Park, a couple of black ladder works, some good gate works, and she looks like she's on her game. But the 3-5 on tap for me, the only thing I'm worried about is this too short for her. You got to remember, Groupie Doll, those 7 furlongs Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprints, they were 7 furlongs. So, you know, does she want a little further than the 6 furlongs of today? That's my question. It's soon to be answered, guys.
We will find out. Thanks, Gary. She is 3-5 on the board here. Start number 2 coming up. Florent Giroux will ride for Steve Asmussen. Meanwhile, with more on Beguine, this first-time starter by Gunrunner. Let's go to JK.
Yeah, this is a horse where you have a big story with a pedigree on a horse like the 5 Tap for Me, and then you see a horse like the 2 Beguine who's taking all of this money. I'm not overly concerned about the fact that the horse is bet down from the morning line. Remember, morning line is just a prediction from one person on what they believe the closing odds will be, and it's hard to judge with first-time starters. What I will tell you is that this horse is being bet into the teeth of a horse with a story, trained by a Hall of Famer in Steve Asmussen. And this horse is trained by Danny Pites, who only wins at 6% in his career with first-time starters. He's had 263 first-time starters in his career. Only 15 of them have won. This horse is being bet, and I think this horse is likely live.
All right, JK, thanks. That one moving in right now at 4-1, as Maggie mentioned. Dan produced Favorable Outcome, who was an 8-time winner, was 3rd in the Malibu. Another one, Bellamentary, as well. We'll see if this one can fire first time out.
Huge second dam pedigree on the 12 in here. Goldina is the dams have to Daydreaming. The second dam is Get Lucky, and Daydreaming produced Imagining. So we'll see. Probably wants to go longer than this, though.
Vic Stauffer with the 7th from Oaklawn.
Terra Nova. Shoshone Moon. Last 2 are Wings of an Angel and Goldina. They're at the post. They're off. Icon and Wings of an Angel break well. November Rose close up. Tap for Me is checking off heels, second to last right now. Up the backstretch with Wings of an Angel just in front of Terra Nova to the outside. Tasha's at the rail in 3rd with Beguine in 4th. 2 lengths then further back to Goldina. Church Service is between horses. Shoshone Moon is in that mix as well. Tap for Me is now in the clear, but she'll be 4 wide leaving the backstretch. November Rose is just inside of her. At the back of the pack are Fast and Feminine and Lady Commander. So it's Wings of an Angel just in front from Terra Nova in 2nd. These 2 are now a length and a half in front of Beguine, who's racing up in 3rd. And here's the daughter of Gunrunner, Beguine, to come challenge for the lead. 4 lengths further back to Tap for Me. She's into 4th now, but 5 lengths behind the leader, and that leader is Wings of an Angel with Beguine in 2nd. Wings of an Angel, the leader. Beguine is 2nd. Tap for Me has moved up to 3rd. Church Service inside of her. Wings of an Angel, Beguine, Church Service, Tap for Me, Wings of an Angel in front. Wings of an Angel won by 2 1/4. Church Service got second. Begin third. Tap for Me finished fourth.
First-time starter Wings of an Angel for Larry Jones. $350,000 daughter of Quality Road wins.
As I said, a half to Jessica Krumpnick, who was a decent runner on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. She's a stakes-winning dirt sprinter. Wings of an Angel showed speed beneath Luis Quinones. Still green, lingering on that inside lead. We saw the well-backed first-time starter Beguine take a run of her, kind of flattened out. As JK was mentioning, Danny Pite's not known and not productive numbers for his first-time starter, but a horse that ran well, and I think one that will benefit. The big story here is Tap for Me. And while she is out of a venerable mare in Groupie Doll, she's a Greg Tappet. And they can be goofy as they come. She was getting out, Greg, and Florent Giroux just got after her. She ran up while still getting out, going 4 or 5 wide. She's going to have to get more professional. There is some ability in there, but she seems to be her own worst enemy. We didn't see her break well today. She took herself back through the field. Then she starts getting out around the turn. But let's give credit to the winner here, Wings of an Angel, Larry Jones. Conditioned this one to get the win, as we do see an inquiry here. Big numbers, though, with the first 2 finishers.
Wow, yeah, 20-1 on Church Service, getting by Beguine here. So we'll wait and see what this inquiry involves. 6-3-2-5, very unofficially, as this race in question.
Where was it? What's going on here? I don't know. Yes, number 3, Church Service, as I said, ran well. I thought. I'm not sure what we're looking at here, Greg.
See if we can sort anything out from this view.
No, do you see anything?
Not at that point. Maybe, yeah, maybe it's here around the turn.
No, Tap for Me is very wide here, so she's not. The gray Church Service gets a little bothered, but she finishes second, so I don't understand why that's an issue. Greg, I don't see anything. And again, this is an inquiry. There's no objection as far as we know.
All right. We'll wait.
Inquiry's down.
All right. So that's that. Looks like it will stand. 6-3-2-5. Wings of an Angel, the first-time starter. Your winner here in the 7th. Featured coming up next. And we'll talk the big showdown that everyone's banking on. Life is Good. Knicks Go. Battle of the Century. And the Pegasus. We'll preview it next. That was class.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKinsey.
McKinsey Preservationist Vito Rosso and Yoshida. McKinsey's in front. McKinsey, they've done it. McKinsey has it by 2.
It's McKinsey in a dominant performance. Pure class in the Malibu.
We've talked a little racing betting strategy, like keeping it simple and just betting to win and place if you like a horse at high enough odds or a horse that might be offering obvious value. There are other pitfalls in betting though, like forgetting to box. If you like 2, 3, or even 4 horses in a race, you just about always box them in your exactas and trifectas. If you do like one horse above all others, you can also key them on top of other horses.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Greg Wolf, Maggie Wolfendale, Gary Stevens, Jonathan Kinchin, all with you. Program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Tampa Bay Downs in the books. It was Sarah Mia cutting back in distance and taking the finale on this Friday card.
Yep, one that I struggled a little bit to have here, Greg. Her sprint at Monmouth going the 5/8 was decent, finishing 4th that day, but oftentimes we don't see these turnbacks work, and you can't say her pedigree was working for her, a daughter of English Channel out of an Artie Schiller mare. You don't think turf sprinter when you look at that, but she paid handsomely with $17.40 over a horse that you like that I thought ran well, Money and Honey.
Yeah, 4, 3, 5. T-Waltz checking in 3rd. Yeah, and that'll do it for Tampa this afternoon. Back at Oaklawn, Wings of an Angel, first-time starter. Expensive Daughter of Quality Road wins the debut for Larry Jones. Luis Quinones aboard.
Yeah, this 4-year-old getting her win first time out. Beguine was the one of the first-time starters taking the most attention. She's a 3-year-old. Danny Pites doesn't often win with his first-time starters, but one that I thought ran a productive race. One we'll look for next time. In Church Service ran a credible effort, but the 3-5 favorite Tap for me, disappointing after getting out around the turn and down the lane.
A lot of things to look forward to this year. Early on in the year in terms of horse racing, it's the battle between the Classic winner Knicks Go and Life is Good. How's Life is Good doing leading up to this showdown?
Well, we saw him get a little bit of a break after his Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile effort here. And visually, Greg, this was probably one of the most impressive performances of Breeders' Cup weekend. Took a lot of pace. It didn't seem as though you necessarily wanted to be that forward and on the inside at Del Mar this weekend, but he did it. Yes, there have been horses to run back that haven't run that well out of this Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, but he trounced him that day. He got a little bit of a respite at Windstar Farm. He's now back with current trainer Todd Pletcher, and he had a recent workout on New Year's Eve with Irad aboard at Palm Beach Downs.
Irad there.
Fog.
Oh, yeah, look at this. I mean, everyone talking about, so there it is, 5 furlongs, 103-1 on December 31st, Palm Beach Downs. What is going to happen on the front end? Because Knicks Go has to go. That's the only way he can do it.
Post positions will be integral, I think. Though this is a slow workout, times usually a little bit on the slower side at Palm Beach Downs, but Irad obviously has him under restraint. And you can tell when this horse, when you grab him, that's when he'll kind of drift and he'll try to fight you a little bit. But Irad puts his hands down here and you actually see him accelerate and extend his stride. So I like this gallop out here despite the slower type of time posted. Now it does, looking at his work pattern, it seems as though he does work every 8 days as opposed to, 7, which is traditionally speaking. So I would look for him to hopefully work tomorrow for Todd Pletcher. Irad having his hands full trying to pull him up too. But that's what you want to see. But you're right, Greg. Both of these horses with some serious early speed, we know Knicks Go's game. He goes. But we've seen Life is Good be able to stalk, sit, and produce a win. So it'll be interesting to see where they're drawn. Does Knicks Go have to run and clear from the outside? You would think that Brad Cox and the team are hoping for a inside post position for that great Maryland
for Knicks Go,
bred.
that's going to be it. I mean, it's all going to be laid out on the line. You could give everything. I mean, look, they're both going to show up, obviously, or you wouldn't be in the race. But Knicks Go, he will be in front, I would think, in this race.
You would think, despite the fact that it's Life is Good that is turning or going further.
Yeah.
So he might have a little bit more natural early speed. So that's what I said. Joel Rosario has ridden Next Go to perfection, and that is just to let him go. So
Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile win, and then wins the Classic, and now Life is Good, trying to emulate that from Nick Sco. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner this past year, I should say, and that's the target at the end of the year for Life is Good, the Classic. But before that happens, kicking off the year with some fireworks, taking on the Classic champ. Speaking of the trainer at Nick Sco, there's Brad Cox, Florent Drew. They're going to team up with the half-sister to Essential Quality, coming up in the feature at Oaklawn with Fame. That is still to come. We'll be back with more America's Day at the Races right after this.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. Like their sire, his runners have excelled on both dirt and turf, including these standout performers.
Leading by 3, Gibberish and Dylan Davis.
Out of a Galileo mare, this dual-surface star has sired juvenile stakes winners on both dirt and turf. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program because New York breds start with an advantage. New York breds run for serious green at Belmont and Saratoga. New York bred maidens run for up to $75,000 and allowance horses for up to $85,000. And serious New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race in open company. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Silver State to make it 6 in a row. Silver State and Ricardo Santana Jr., Malathot and Maracuja, they will battle on to the finish in a terrific rendition here, and it looked like Maracuja got it, pulling off the upset over the odds-on favorite. A Saratoga memory for the ages with this victory by Stellar Tap. Steve Asmussen is now North America's all-time leading trainer. On the outside, Forense Fire. On the inside, it is Yopon. Forense Fire seems to savage Yopon there in the stretch, and it's going to be Yopon who gets to the wire first. It is Got Stormy who has now come away with the lead. Got Stormy has won the Grade 1 4-star Dave Handicap. It's Jackie's Warrior. Life is Good. The two of them will battle it out. Jackie's Warrior by a head. And they ran 7 furlongs and won 21-1. And Malathot has taken the lead with the 16th to the finish. Malathot back in the win column. It is Latruska holding on to the lead. Latruska won it by a half length. Knicks Go out in the middle of the track and holding on to the lead here. Knicks Go with a wire-to-wire victory in the 94th running of the Grade 1 Whitney. It is Essential Quality and Midnight Bourbon. Essential Quality has won the Run Happy Travers.
And still at the back, gets you beer. and Yabir is now mowing them down. Yabir, from last to first, will win the Jockey Club Derby and is in the Breeders' Cup.
Jack Christopher stretches out, steps up, and puts in a grade 1 effort to win the Champagne. And now she's pouring it on here in the stretch. Echo Zulu, she has won all 3 of her starts, took the spin away at Saratoga, and she wins the Frazette here at Belmont. Fireworks in the stretch here in the Cigar Mile. American Revolution and Following C. And American Revolution, the New York bred, has won. Here comes Essential Quality up on the outside to challenge Hot Rod Charlie. Essential Quality with a narrow lead, and he's showing his quality today. The champion 2-year-old has won the Test of the Champion.
I'm glad we saved that Belmont Stakes for last, because you go back to that race, and what a way to close out the Triple Crown. Such an incredible battle between Hot Rod Charlie and Essential Quality, and to have fans back at a Triple Crown race here in New York after not having it all of 2020 and hearing that roar of the crowd.
Greg,
it was incredible.
I remember walking in that day and just getting giddy. There was live music, there were people. It felt so good after 2020 and the year we had, and for fans to be back to witness that showdown with, Hot Rod Charlie and running the best race possibly to date.
Yeah.
Obviously his PA Derby was very good too, but just to be run down by the champion in Essential Quality, who had that tough trip in the Derby. So many people thought he would win the Derby, and he comes back and he wins the Travers as well. And it's funny looking at that video, how many, as we get close to the Eclipse Awards, how many champions did we get to see there?
Oh, in that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Littered with champions. And that's one of the big questions. Probably the biggest question out there is 3-year-old champion.
Yep.
Medina Spirit, Kentucky Derby winner, or Essential Quality?
There's reasons why you say Medina Spirit. He ran well. He won the Kentucky Derby. He finished better than Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Essential Quality, he was better. He was better throughout the year. We saw him more. There wasn't any controversy surrounding his wins.
I agree.
It's Essential Qualities. I don't vote, but I hope that they make the right decision and make him a dual champion.
We will see. Yeah, 2-year-old champ, trying to add that 3-year-old championship as well. So that is yet to be determined. We will find out soon. Get back to Oaklawn, and the feature race is coming up. And speaking of the trainer of Essential Quality's half-sister, trained by Brad Cox, famed 1-9 right now in this 8th at Oaklawn.
Okay. Poor girl. She has so much weight on her shoulders. She's definitely not her brother. Watching the way that she travels, Greg, not the prettiest mover, to say the least. Now, last time out, it was a pace that, we saw Dream List sit off of it, but Yaguri was your pace setter, and I did think she didn't break that well, and then she got a bit headstrong going into that first turn and down the backside. A lot of times when you are fighting your rider, you use up so much more energy than actually just going a bit faster than maybe you should. She does get Lasix for this return. She doesn't meet the strongest field ever. Do you want to take 1-5 on her? Probably not, because does she deserve that yet? No, but in this field, she feels like she's better.
Yeah, I think part of it is as you mentioned, who she's facing in here.
Right,
and she's not facing the toughest field.
And the connections, the pedigree, it all adds up for 1-5. That's up for no money.
We will see her in a moment. She's going to cut back to a mile from a mile and a 16th, and you have to say, it was a tough spot to go into off a maiden win, grade 2 goldenrod.
I think that helps her. Less ground is probably better at this point in her career.
Here's Holy Justice from the inside.
Yeah, Holy Justice, she did win in her lone start, going a route of ground, albeit against fellow Indiana breds.
Stablemate of fame for Brad Cox here, Ice Baby.
Brad Cox has great numbers. Broke maiden last start in their first route on the dirt. He's 7 for 25, 28%.
CC Harbor won debuting on the grass. This will be the dirt debut.
At Louisiana Downs, and while she is by commissioner, there's a lot more turf on the bottom side.
Torts, trained by Michael Lauer, 17-1.
I thought she ran on well late. She did benefit from getting a quick pace, though, to close into.
Lavender Lane, 16-1, beat by a Kenny McPeak filly last out.
Yeah, who was favored in Boma. I thought she moved a bit early. I thought she ran really well in defeat.
Here is the half-sister to Essential Quality, 1-5 Unfamed.
Greg, as she runs back to any of her first two efforts, she's the likeliest winner.
And Ricardo Santana Jr. outside on Waterworks for Steve Asmussen.
Waterworks kind of had a bit of a rough trip last time out. She's going to have to get faster. She was checked and bounced around at the quarter pole while trying to make a run from the inside. Here at Aqueduct, actually.
You look at Famed, and she's shown speed the first couple of starts of her career. Is she the one who's just, look, Florence Drew says, I'm on the best filly in the race. Do I just put her on the lead?
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody fast enough early to necessarily run with her. Her biggest pace concern is her stablemate, Nice Baby, but I don't think Francisco Arrieta is going to make Brad Cox angry.
Probably not a good idea.
No.
6-1 on Ice Baby.
We'll see what Holy Justice does from the inside. Like I said, Famed is naturally faster, but you're from the inside. You do have natural speed. You are coming out of sprint races in which your lone route race, you won controlling on the front end.
And you don't want to just hand this race to the favorite, too.
Geez, the one is 30 to 25 to 1. Yeah, her numbers are pretty slow, but she has won half of her career starts.
Well, Florent Giroux will be on the heavy favorite here. Let's go to Gary Stevens for more.
Yeah, guys, let's talk about the year that Brad Cox, Godolphin, and Florent Giroux have had together. Brad Cox set a single season earnings mark this year. It was a record. Godolphin, the same as breeders and owners, set a single season record as well. And Florent Giroux has been a big part of that. They've been together for a long time. I got to throw in there Doug Bradar, Florent's agent. He's a former racing secretary and a very good racing secretary. He knows where all these horses are going at all times. He's in constant contact with Brad Cox. So they've got plans laid out months ahead of time, plans for all of these horses. And then Ice Baby and Francisco Arrieta, who's currently tied for leading rider here, really has fired off some cannons here at the beginning of the meet. And should mention as well, a young rider, he's the leading apprentice in North America this year. John Geraldo has been a constant here since this meet opened a short month ago. And he was in a freaky accident earlier this week on Wednesday. That's why you did not see him riding his mounts today. He can really ride. He was working a horse out here on Wednesday. The hind bandages came off, and the horse tripped and fell and actually rolled the length of him. That's what youth does. We thought that he had broken a collarbone, possible shoulder injury, and possible leg injury. Well, he's resolute, he's elastic, and just bruised up. He's going to miss probably the next 2 days of racing, Saturday and Sunday, especially with this cold weather, but nothing serious there. But just wanted to give you an update about him. I've got a good group of riders here, a strong riding colony, and I'm going to look out for Ice Baby in here, the other Brad Cox, guys.
5-1 on Ice Baby. Gary, thanks. So, yeah, that is the stablemate of Famed. So, Gary going to take a shot with the other Brad Cox filly.
Like I said, Brad has great numbers. This one, we were talking about pedigrees, obviously, with Famed, but this one is a half to Strike Power, who's a graded stakes winning a sprinter, also a half to King Meister, who is pretty good, a dirt kind of middle distance runner. So there's some pedigree with this one, too, to appreciate the added ground as well. So being a daughter of Frosted.
Big expectations for this half-sister to the champion Essential Quality, Fame. There she is, the 6 waiting to move in. Daughter of Uncle Mo, out of Delightful Quality. Can she take a step forward, get back in the winner's circle for the second time in her career? Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
They're at the post. They're off. Holy Justice, Tort, Lavender Lane, and Waterworks all break well. Lavender Lane, without really being sent, will challenge Waterworks early. Famed was a bit slow into stride, but now moves up nicely up into a joint third. Then comes at the back of the pack, Ice Baby, and outsprinted early is CC Harbor. So Waterworks going to clear off to the backstretch. Lavender Lane didn't want the lead, and so she'll sit second. Waterworks, 3/4. Lavender Lane is second. The same margin to Tort between horses. Famed will be 4 wide around the first turn. She's in the blue and about 2.5 off the lead. Holy Justice stays at the rail 5th with 3 lengths to make up. Then it's 2 back to Ice Baby and another 4 lengths back to the trailer. CC Harbor midway on the backstretch. Finish line is the 16th pole and Waterworks is the leader. It is Waterworks now only a half length in front of Lavender Lane, who is inching just a bit closer in second. Fame will be 3 wide leaving the backstretch. She's in good striking position with Tort just inside of her. Holy Justice stays at the rail and stays 5th. 3 off the lead, 3 back to Ice Baby. CC Harbor has trailed throughout. Waterworks is the leader. Waterworks now 2 lengths in front at the quarter pole. Famed is moving up outside of Tort. They're together second and third, but they're both pretty much all in, and Waterworks is still in hand at the top of the stretch. 3 back to Holy Justice. Waterworks cuts the corner and leads. She's a 2.5 length leader over Tort and Famed. Fame's just going up and down right now, and Waterworks is straight. Waterworks now 3 in front. Tort, Famed no better than third. Waterworks in front. Waterworks won by 3. Tort was second, Famed third. Holy Justice finished 4th.
Not today for Famed. It's Waterworks, Ricardo Santana Jr., Steve Asmussen, and Famed checks in third.
Greg, she bounced out of the gate. Ricardo was aggressive with her, put her on the lead. We didn't see Famed break that well again like she did in the Goldenrod. And Waterworks, you could tell within, getting to the backside, this filly had her ears pricked the entire way. Maryland bred, daughter of Mosler, gets the win here. Is the band back together? Ricardo Santana riding for Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might have written him off a little bit too soon at this meet because he wasn't riding primarily for his main man, Steve Asmussen, but they team up here, and he's right in the mix.
And obviously, again, the story is a favorite with a pretty sparkly pedigree, not delivering. Famed is not essential quality at the end of the day, and I think, maybe they should go back to the drawing board. I'm obviously not Brett Cox, I'm not an Eclipse-winning trainer, but it feels like she might be a horse that is better sprinting. At least as of this point in her career. You can just see her stride really shortens in the latter stages of her efforts.
It's Waterworks' upset win for the Asmussen barn. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We still have the nightcap to come. You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2, Bally Sports Southern California and San Diego. We'll be back right after this. Stick around.
Introducing Giftbox, winner of the Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap. He's a 3-time graded stakes-winning millionaire with 4 triple-digit buyers and a 4 Ragazin to his name. He proved himself early as a graded stakes place 2-year-old, and now his career as a stallion is just getting started. From the first crop of the leading sire Twirling Candy out of a multiple graded stakes producing mare. Giftbox, new for 2021, only at Lane's End.
During Leo McLaughlin's 22-year run as mayor of Hot Springs, starting in 1926, the city became a haven for notorious criminals and gangsters, most notably Al Capone.
A lot of people aren't aware of the fact that in 1931, Las Vegas, Nevada had 5,000 people in it and no high-rise hotels. Everyone was there to build the Boulder Dam, which became the Hoover Dam. At the same time, in 1931, Hot Springs had 20,500 people in it, 22 high-rise hotels, and $100 million in gambling income. The only difference was here in Arkansas, it was illegal, but it was okay.
During the spring, tourists could find themselves rubbing elbows with gangsters and Major League Baseball players.
Everyone year-round could enjoy the hot mineral baths, hunting and fishing and gambling. But in the spring, it was the opening of the live thoroughbred race meet at Oaklawn Park. And man, was it a happening place.
Such a great history there, and you had all these gangsters from all across the country. They would come in. It was a safe haven for them. There's a tale that Bugs Moran, he was the arch enemy of Al Capone. He was staying a block away at the Majestic Hotel. Capone was at the Arlington. No shots fired. Truce.
They stayed off each other's territory. Yeah. I will say I stayed at the Arlington. It's truly like stepping back in time. You feel as though those gangsters still could be around you. They haven't changed it much. Kind of keeps that same mystique. But yeah, it's such a cool town. You must get out there, Greg. I know I heard you earlier saying you haven't been yet.
It's on the bucket list, no question. And if you can, you have to, too. And stay down in town, too, or stay right on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, the new hotel at Oaklawn is amazing. You can watch the morning workouts from your bed with your coffee.
Incredible.
It's a really beautiful facility that they've built there, and I can't wait to get back at some point.
Still have the nightcap coming up from Oaklawn. Big upset in the feature, not to be for famed today. Waterworks the win. Santana Jr., Asmussen. Combination we saw all summer long at Saratoga, and we've seen for the last 8 years in Oaklawn. Teaming up again.
You didn't get this kind of price up at Saratoga this year. $22.80 on Waterworks, who was so happy being out on the front end. A tuned ride by Ricardo Santana. First time he climbed aboard this filly, who her lone route two-turn race at Mama, she won, albeit it wasn't off the turf field. But she won by 9 1/4 lengths. I think going long is what she wants to do here. But the really short favorite, Famed, had to settle for third. And it looks as though maybe you would think a turn back in distance might be in her future.
And look, she's shown ability, too. So maybe back to sprinting. Maybe that's what she wants to do. We'll see. Still potentially a bright career ahead for her. You're going to close things out today at Oaklawn with this mile, a 16th two-turn, 50,000 starter allowance. It is prioritization for Scott Becker right now, who's the favorite, coming off a second beat by a 45-1 shot last time out.
Yeah, who did wire the field that day. So prioritization, I think, ran well, considering he was coming back off was he coming back off a bit of a layoff? No, he wasn't. Sorry. But his first time against winners, I think it was a credible effort, kind of down on the inside. I always find it so uncomfortable for horses to run down there.
Let's go back to the Breeders' Cup.
Let's.
One of the biggest upsets, probably the biggest upset, March Lorraine. What a Breeders' Cup it was for Japan. 49-1. I think I said 45-1 in a thrilling race where the speed just melted down in here, and that meant end of the day early for Latruska. We're going to see March Lorraine, hopefully, one more time.
And to be fair to her, Greg, she was the first one to make the move into this hot pace. It wasn't like she was closing from 10 off of it. She was sitting right behind it in the early stages, and she was able to hold off, several well-credited runners here. I was pretty impressed and actually shocked by this performance. And she outgamed Dunbar Road, who honestly looked as though she won there at that angle. But Marsh Lorraine, Loves Only You, her stablemate, came over. She did what she had to do, as she was well fancied in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. But Marsh Lorraine pulling off the upset. It looks as though Fillies and mares aren't necessarily in her future. She's going to take on the boys, as you were saying, in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, Saudi Cup against the boys, likely to be her final start. That'll be February 26th. That'd be fun. We would love to see it.
Absolutely. It's that one-turn configuration, so we'll see how she handles that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't sound like our well-known handicap horses, at least the big names, as we were talking about earlier. Nick's Go, this is his swan song in the Pegasus World Cup. He's not going in 2. He doesn't run as well around the one-turn configuration, so it's never going to be an option. What is, there's really not that deep of a field, it seems as though as of now heading out there, so why not take a shot?
Yeah, we've heard potentially Mishrif, I guess,
right,
could be in the
who
race.
is last year's winner, but maybe the argument could be said that he is a better turf horse at the end of the day. But again, he won the race last year.
6-year-old mare, potentially making the final start of her career against the boys in the Saudi Cup. That'd be a lot of fun. Some big matchups early on in the year we're looking forward to.
Oh, this Pegasus World Cup. Sometimes it might be a little lackluster, but this year, this is a huge matchup, and hoping for big performances from both horses.
Nick's Go, Life is Good, the showdown coming up in just a few weeks. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back.
Sounds good.
Stick with us. Nightcap still to come from Oaklawn. We'll have the post-parade right after this on FS2.
Smile Happy was a TDN rising star following his maiden win at Keeneland. From there, he captured the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes to remain undefeated and earning points toward the Kentucky Derby. In future Pool 1, Smile Happy was individual leader by lowest odds. Among the top of his crop by stakes winners and earnings, Run Happy continues his rise and is priced for success. Call today and book your mare to Red Hot Sire Run Happy, standing in legendary Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Nyra Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Nyra Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Nyra Bets app or visit nyrabets.com.
And on the morning of the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need to create the noblest of all creatures. So God made a racehorse. He needed a horse that is faster, smarter, sleeker, and sounder, so God made a racehorse. He created an animal sound of wind with oversized nostrils to breathe fire like a dragon and turn oxygen into rocket fuel. He gave it a kind eye so his caretaker could look into his soul. And then on the afternoon of the 8th day, God realized that he needed an animal that was even swifter, smarter, and sounder.
An animal that can compete on the world stage and win iconic races like at Royal Ascot.
So God created a legend. The legend lives on at Alapa.
And DeHaas is coming to Kiragashi. Urgent request, there's nothing left. Spinning World is right there. And on the far outside, Mark of Esteem has still got a lot to do. It's the American DeHaas with a 2-length lead. Spinning World trying to reel him in as they come down to the finish. But the victory goes to DeHaas in the mile.
Well, the great DeHaas, dual winner of the Breeders' Cup Mile, winning with 2-year absence in between, with just one start in between those two Breeders' Cup Miles. Just remarkable.
He might have the most intriguing PPs. Obviously, we know about the 2-year layoff that this horse came back to get that prep race at Colonial Downs for the quote-unquote mad genius Michael Dickinson. But he's a genius. To get a horse to do this, he's a dual Breeders' Cup Mile winner. He's also a graded stakes winner on the dirt early on in his career, sprinting no less. So this horse just remarkable, and we unfortunately lost him, Greg, this year.
Passed away, 30 years old on January 2nd. horse was purchased for just $6,000 originally at auction. The first of those Breeders' Cup Mile victories, of course, came with Gary Stevens in the irons.
Yeah, guys, and that's a fun story to talk about. Michael Dickinson, I'd never ridden a horse for him, and Mike Smith told me he was going to come to the weighing room with a map, an actual map of the racetrack that was done in color crayons. And I said, yeah, right. Well, he showed up to the jockey's room with this map, and he told me that he had bought some Silhouette women's shoes to walk the turf course. And he said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I don't want that horse up towards the lead. He said, I want him on the fence, and I want you to grab him, leave him the starting gate, and make a beeline for the inside of the racetrack. I was drawn out in the 11 hole wide. There was other speed inside of me, and I grabbed him the first jump, got him to the fence, and he told me, he says, don't move off that fence until you turn into the stretch, and then you can go wherever you want. He said, just point him and fire. And it's one of those deals where usually a trainer gives you these instructions and you try and follow, and it never goes to plan. That was 1 in a million. Everything he said happened in that race. Had a great horse, Spinning World, behind me with Cash Asmussen, came back the next year, and he won the Breeders' Cup Mile. He was a very, very good French horse. Anyway, that was the story. With the Stelloettes, the map, the Mad Genius put me in the winner's circle on De Haas. I was proud to have ridden him. I was sorry I didn't ride him 2 years later. My agent lost a $5,000 bet over that deal. He said he was going to win it. He did win it. De Haas, what a horse he was. Michael Dickinson and I, we've been friends ever since, guys.
What an incredible story. I mean, and truly, he's regarded as a genius in this sport, and that's just more proof right there.
Well, exactly. I mean, the only thing, they are stilettos, but I'm not expecting Gary to know that. But the funny thing, Greg, when I went to Cheltenham for the first time back in 2013, I had been put in contact with Michael, and he is a regular attendant. Obviously, before his triumphs with De Haas, he trained the first 5 finishers home in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, which is just a feat within itself. And I was walking around with him at the track, and people were coming up to me later saying, you were with Michael Dickinson. Like, who are you? Like, Michael, an avid watcher, viewer of our show. So all the credit goes to you, Michael.
Incredible what he did with his horse. And De Haas, a fan favorite, too. And that's a common occurrence. We see Michael Dickinson walking turf courses to try and get a leg up on the competition.
It's a very European thing to do, but it's the right thing to do because you have to understand where the good paths are, how a course drains. You know, if a course drains from the outside in or inside out, and are those paths compromised because, you know, you've had recent rain, or maybe they're a little bit chewed up where the rails are. So in Europe, they have the going sticks, which I think is a great tool that I've said time and time again that we should have here for as just that much more information for us as handicappers to go upon, because sometimes you see courses labeled firm. They're not truly firm, Greg.
We got one more coming up on this Friday card from Oaklawn. 50,000 starter allowance. It is for 3-year-olds and up, going a mile and a 16th, 2 turns. And still the 3 prioritization, Quality Road, 4-year-old, who, as you mentioned, that runner-up finish was his first try against winners. A very credible effort to do that off a maiden win.
Yeah, I want to see how he looks here in the post-parade. I noticed that he kind of got a little bit hot in that December 10th effort, kind of keyed up, going down the backside too, in going the 2-turn mile that they have there at Oaklawn Park. He's a player, don't get me wrong, and he's consistently run a bit faster in each subsequent start. But I just thought there were some interesting horses in here. What are we going to get from the horse that was favored in that prioritization race, Leading West? He broke fine, and then he just completely lacked speed. He got a good trip around there, saving ground, but he was under a ride at the 5/16th. But are we going to see him turn things back around for Robertina Diodoro? There's even an interesting first off the claim Diodoro horse and most satisfactory from the rail.
And, there's a horse, the 11 in here, Amongst Friends. John Court's actually going to fill in. He has a couple of numbers he's run. I know he was 2-5 in that Indiana Grand race, but he earned a huge figure, backed it up with a sprint at Keeneland. If he can get back to those numbers, he's a player in this race.
I almost think, despite his fastest and most impressive race, going a mile and 70 around 2 turns, it was an off-the-turf race, 5 horses, sloppy track. maybe that's an outlier. When you look at the bulk of it, could the argument be made that he's better with less ground? I mean, just based upon that lap, maybe it was the sloppy track at Churchill, because let's face it, no two wet tracks are the same, that he reacted negatively to. He does have some early speed that should play into his favor. He didn't have it last time, but I'm hoping that John Court uses it here.
We'll see. I mean, this is a test for him to see if he wants to continue going this distance here and going 2 turns. Here's the one most satisfactory at 8-1.
Yeah, first off, the Robertino Diodoro claim, lower profile connections had him before, dropped him in for the 16, pulled off the upset at 16-1. His numbers are going the right way. He'll have to run faster, but he could.
JVB, third off a layoff for Thomas Vanberg.
Comes out of the same prioritization race, compromised at the start, checked back, had to make up the most ground, ran on well late.
Here's prioritization, second time in against winners.
On his toes, but not washy, feeling good out there.
Shofar, Jason Barkley off the claim.
Had an ideal trip last time to only lose by half a length in what was a kind of blanket finish.
Back-to-back starts where outliers has not shown up.
Yeah, switching back out to a route race again, it looks as though his best races are behind him.
Spheroid in a new barn, claimed off of Dale Romans.
Yeah, he kind of got away in a tangle last time and was part of that blanket finish with Shofar.
Namesake, he put it all together last time out, and that was at Oaklawn.
Fourth place finisher came back to win with a 77 buyer next time out, so improving upon his effort. There's some upside with Namesake.
Yeah, that was stretching out for the first time, too. Amani's Eagle, major player at 4-1.
Yeah, third off of the layoff for Steve Asmussen. It set a pretty fast pace last time. We'll see. Does he use it here again?
Diodoro with the 1. He's also got the 9 leading west.
Yeah, leading west, like I said, a little bit of a disappointing effort as the beaten favorite.
New Gelding with a 10. Hanks, run happy 4-year-old.
Yeah, coming off a bit of a layoff. He's run some races as a 3-year-old. If he gets faster, turning another year older, makes him a player.
Amongst friends, John Court, we talked about.
Yeah, and we are looking at the 12 here now, who, Greg, I think is coming out of better races.
Sano Grotto for Brian Williamson. 4-year-old son of Orb. 1 for 15 lifetime.
I mean, look at some of the horses that he faced when running here on the Nyra circuit. Obviously, was well beaten by highly motivated first time out, but Bourbonic, Known Agenda, even such horses like starter allowance horses here in New York, such as Rocco Strong and Good Culture, Top Gun Tommy. And this horse is right there with them. I think he gets a little bit of class relief and gets back to the dirt, which is obviously his preferred surface.
That's a big number on him, nearly double his morning line. With more in the race, let's go back to Gary.
Yeah, guys, let's talk about the relationship between David Cohen, M&M Racing, Robertino Diodoro. It's almost a deal like I had when I was riding in Europe, where you deal directly with, the jockey deals directly with the racing manager. It has a lot of impact on where these horses are going, suggestions and whatnot, and it's been a lengthy relationship and a very effective relationship over the years. And he continues to ride wherever their horses happen to go. Robertino Diodoro has a stretching stable throughout the United States. He's got horses in Turf Paradise. He's got horses at Turfway. He's got horses here at Oaklawn Park. Many, many horses in his care. But he is the #1 rider, David Cohen is for M&M Stables. And it's interesting, he rides with a lot of confidence for them. He doesn't have to worry about getting fired. A lot of times when you go into a little bit of a slump for a trainer and you're getting beat on horses that owners think you should have won on, you know that you're about to get fired. He doesn't have to worry about that with this operation, guys.
Gary, thanks. That's a great feeling to have that confidence, and that allows you to do what you do best on the racetrack, to be able to take chances.
Absolutely. And the loyalty factor that we've seen with Robertino Diodoro and David Cohen, sometimes I think, David tries to make things happen that aren't there and maybe thinks too much and makes ultimately the wrong decision. But Robertino has stuck by him throughout the years. And obviously it's a great relationship too that Tino has with his agent, Billy Castle, who has been David's agent for quite some time now. So it's all kind of that family affair, and I couldn't agree with Gary more. It makes such a difference.
5-1 on that team. Diodoro and David Cohen with leading west. I'm surprised. That's a big number on, you're getting big numbers on a lot of runners in here, including Amani's Eagle, the 8 at 4-1.
Yeah, Amani's Eagle, what did he do so wrong last time? It was to go a mile in the slop and go, 22 and 4, 45, and nearly 3. This horse makes a lot of sense. And I remember seeing him last time, I should say last year, and he didn't run that well in the slot that day. But here he is. I mean, like I said, he does everything right as far as I'm concerned, going back to his Churchill Downs effort.
Trying to do it all the way on the front end and just going to get nailed late as the favorite by Perfect Cut. And that's not usual. I mean, what do you think is his best running style?
It does feel as though there's some other pace that could materialize in here. He is a horse that I see what Joel was doing with him. And even look at his races going back to 2020. He was a forwardly placed horse, and it felt as though with him losing that speed, we saw some poorer efforts, and especially going longer. Like, where was his speed going a mile and an eighth or a mile and a half? He should have been up on the engine. I think in hindsight, it was probably the wrong move to have him off the pace. I think he's a horse that does do his better running when forward in here. We'll see what he does again. Like I said, there's some horses that could be just a bit quicker than him. We'll see what prioritization does. He's not without speed. But Amani's Eagle, Greg, I think he is a major player in here.
And meanwhile, do you think there's just too much respect being paid to prioritization in here?
Too much.
Big number he got at Hawthorne. 45 to 1 shot beats him last time out. Granted, you meant it was a great gate-to-wire win, and it was his first try against winners. But that's a short price on him.
That's a short price.
He's taking on multiple winners.
Right, with horses that I think have faced better horses. I think that Amani's Eagle has faced better horses. Happy American, Thomas Shelby, Happy Saver, Mystic Guide. Like, those horses litter Amani's Eagle's PPs. And you look at a horse, too, such as Sono Grotto, as I was mentioning. There is a class edge with these horses. Now, maybe you're getting prioritization on the upswing, whereas these horses are taking downswing. But how can you really say that when you look back at Sono Grotto's last dirt race and when you look at Amani's Eagle's last race?
Yeah, Sono Grotto, throw out that last one. That was on synthetic. Before that, dirt Churchill. That's an effort that could very easily win this race today. Right now, he's still at 9-1 on that outside post. Finale on this Friday card from Oaklawn coming up. It's the 3 prioritization quality road 4-year-old for Scott Becker, Francisco Arrieta, the favorite on the board. Let's go to Vic Stauffer for the call.
Outlier and Amongst Friends. The last 2 to load are Spheroid and Sono Grotto. They're at the post. They're off. Outlier wins the break. Most satisfactory close up. Namesake between horses and Amani's Eagle. These 4 are quickest. Then to the outside and Hanks, followed by Leading West and Prioritization. Next at the rail goes JVB with Spheroid and Amongst Friends, Sono Grotto, and the trailer is Shofar. Namesake to the backstretch just in front of Most Satisfactory. These 2 will match strides. Outliers in a tight spot third and a length less than that from the front. Prioritization moves up outside and takes third. And the top 4 all in red silks up the backstretch and separated by 2 lengths. Then comes Hanks and Amani's Eagle with Leading West just in behind those 2. A gap of 5 lengths back to Amongst Friends and Spheroid. Then Sono Grotto about 12 off the lead. The 2 trailers are JVB and Shofar as they go into the far turn, and Namesake has the lead from Prioritization, who has moved up smartly into second, could get into the lead soon. Prioritization does take the lead leaving the backstretch. He's a half length, now a full length in front of Namesake. Between horses, Outliers about to retake second. Then comes Amani's Eagle, Leading West. Most Satisfactory has dropped back. Hanks is next. Then comes Sono Grotto, top of the stretch. Prioritization, the one to catch. Prioritization, a 2-length lead on Outlier in second. Leading West has moved through into third, and he's on the move at the rail. Then amongst friends, but Prioritization has a final furlong to get. Leading West is coming after him, and now he means business from the inside. Here comes Leading West. Prioritization, Leading West trying to get him on the money. Prioritization, Leading West. Prioritization turned him away and beat Leading West by a head. JVB was third. Outlier finished fourth.
All right, so I was wrong. Public was right on here. Prioritization with the win. Actually did go off your 2-1 favorite in the end.
I mean, it was the same 3 horses coming out of that same race, so I guess that one looked a little bit stronger than I had originally thought.
Francisco Arrieta, Scott Baker team up for the victory. Son of Quality Road wins for the second time in his career. That is going to bring our Friday coverage to a conclusion. We hope you join us tomorrow. We have more action coming up. Check your local listings. We're on the air at 2:30 Eastern time. We have the Pippin from Oaklawn. That's their feature. In tomorrow's 8th race, we'll see Coach for Brad Cox, Miss Bigley for Phil D'Amato, and of course, here in New York, we're back to action after snow put a stop to things with the Say Florida Sandy on Saturday, the feature.